Everyone else in the survival space woke up scared and lost behind an invisible wall, but I woke up as Minecraft Steve, with his full inventory on my back and a library of mods queuing themselves up in a system that had no idea what it had just imported. Within hours, I had farmed millions of EMC, mass-produced spiritual jadeite, and raised the first basic spiritualized manor in the entire survival space, a gold-wired fortress that broke regional records the moment it locked in. Now, as the chat fills with monster reports and the system warns of things crawling up from underground, my real survival is about to begin. But how did this start? Let me take you back to the moment everything changed. Who am I? Where am I? What am I supposed to do? I look around the dilapidated wooden hut, wind whistling through the wall gaps, and through the window hole I take in plains, trees, a small lake, and a rocky hill. A good spot to settle. Then I remember I was in the city an hour ago, halfway through a pure survival Minecraft run, having just grinded out the infinity suit when my vision flashed bright and went dark. Now I am in a parallel world, somehow become Steve, complete with an inventory. My parents passed in my previous life and I was an only child, so the attachments are thin, and I accept I likely died from overwork. Plan to find a small mountain village to enjoy my golden finger, and then the vision blurs again and dumps me here. A hum from the sky welcomes me to the survival space and threads information into my mind. The heavenly Tao has transported every living thing here 1 to 3 humans per space scaled by survival capability, while feeble creatures like cockroaches get packed dozens to a space. A companion's death degrades the environment, and malicious attacks bring terrifying punishment. Each space splits into an interior, matching the creature's home planet, and an exterior that is its worst opposite. So for humans, that is plains and lakes inside, desert outside, area scaled to body size to keep things fair. I am quietly grateful I drew a solo run and not a baby or an old person as a partner. The rest of the rules can wait. I think the words open world chat channel and a light screen blooms in front of me. Each space gets 1 message per day, yet the feed is a torrent worse than any top streamer's stream, auto-translated into my best language. Most of it is gibberish since over 99% of living creatures have little to no intelligence. The carbon-based lifeform chat channel is the same, so I narrow to category 15, the band running every 20 Kelvin up from absolute zero, in which humans land at roughly 296 Kelvin, or 22 to 24 degrees Celsius. Human range stretches into categories 14 and 16 too, but those are just as flooded. Only the regional channel reads as actual conversation. Category 15 high-intelligence carbon-based lifeforms. Region 1, 14514, 999 alive out of 1,000. The one death I figure is somebody who arrived on the verge of death, and their companion is now unlucky. 1,000 beings comes out to 500 survival spaces and 500 races. Most are still in shock, so the channel is quiet. A 60% werewolf laughing about becoming the wolf god. A 90% frogman wailing for its mother. A dark elf invoking the goddess of night. And a 20% cat person meowing about being alone and not knowing how to catch fish. The werewolf orders the lowly creatures to submit. Messages default to anonymous, so I send my own, telling them to hold high the banner of life, follow the path of common prosperity hand in hand, and struggle tirelessly toward a community with a shared future for all living beings. A great harmony society. The werewolf, calling himself Fenrir Lycaon, declares me selfless and promises the wolf god's blessing, and the cat person asks if humans are really the legendary perfect creature, the hairless ones. To which I admit there is still some hair. Flipping the race list, I notice I appear to be the only human in this region. Some entries combine 17 Earth animal traits plus 3 Earth impossible ones, and I begin to suspect this anonymity is not really anonymous. I close the chat and call up my attribute panel. Name Steve, race human, cosmic coins 0, Constitution 20 with a confused question mark, agility 10, strength 10. The panel reminding me adult human average is 10 and cosmic adult average is 15. No skills, no titles, no items. My Steve constitution has been reality bent, hands that can punch obsidian apart yet a body an arrow can kill. An inventory that hauls absurd weight without breaking a tree on contact. Constitution doubles the human average and matches my health. If that cosmic average is calculated across raw individual counts, then small swarming creatures must be staggering in number and the top-end beings of this universe unspeakable. I look at the trees outside and feel I have just opened a fresh save. My parents named me Steve, same as the Minecraft protagonist, and at 5 years old my older cousin pulled me into the game, and I have lived inside it for 15 years. Fluent in speedruns, technical Minecraft, redstone, commands, and building. Never house design. The first step to wealth is still punching trees. My Steve Holy body is more elegant than any heavenly Tao interface, health, hunger, saturation, body temperature, and inventory living in my mind, never in my vision. My 10 hearts have no cracks, which means survival mode, which means I might respawn, though I will not test it since a pro player clears the game, on a single life. Dressed in the classic Steve outfit, I stand under a tree half a meter wide and 30 meters tall, and start swinging from a meter out. Cracks bloom at the base, slow because the tree felling mod is in effect, and a minute later the trunk topples with a soft thud onto the dozen others nearby. 10 seconds later it vanishes into a pile of drops. 20 eucalyptus logs, 4 saplings, 16 sticks, and 4 cosmic coins. The drops are miniature versions with no collision boxes and slide into my inventory. The cosmic coins resolve as a number on the interface, and the one I pull out is yuan coin sized, a black background flecked with colored spots like a tiny cosmos. I dig under the roots. A 1 cubic meter hole opens with my bare hands, and rooted dirt drops into my inventory. A vanilla item. Punching ordinary dirt classifies it separately, and when I place rooted dirt back, the roots reconnect with whatever survives. Classification and restoration both. On brand for the conceptual god Steve. I craft 2 crafting tables. Set 1 down. A full cubic meter of grain-perfect wood, without splinters, that scrapes only when I dig my nails in but heals when I stop. So Minecraft blocks can be destroyed but not dismantled, while soil obeys ordinary physics. I right-click the table with a wave, the 3x3 grid floats up, and I craft a wooden pickaxe and a wooden shovel. The system announces the Getting Wood advancement and pays out 3 mod points. I hop toward a small hill. My one weakness is speed. About 7 or 8 meters a second, perfectly fine but ridiculous to watch. The hill's soil is thin. My shovel lifts 2 clumps of mud, as partial blocks like snowballs, and stone resolves under it. A few swings and a cubic meter drops, and 3 cobblestone later my wooden pickaxe is at 3 durability. So I craft a stone pickaxe and keep the wood as fuel rather than litter the plane. The stone pickaxe is faster, 20-odd blocks net me, 2 more cosmic coins, and the briefing's warning that Minecraft mining wastes the random coal or iron drops other beings can get is not a problem I care about. Regional chat mentioned a bonus starting chest beside the hut, which feels disrespectful since the first step of Minecraft is punching trees, but on the way I spend one of my 4 mod points on the JEI inventory module, since after 15 years, I still cannot recall the recipes for cake or cookies, and the survival space has surely added countless new ones. The moment I open the GAI inventory, I freeze. Page 1 of 320,000, and clicking back blinds me with rainbow particles swarming over barely visible items. I tap 1 at random. Heart of Light. Saint-grade food. Restores no hunger or thirst. Single use. On consumption, maximum health, up 100,000. Maximum mana, up 100,000. Maximum vitality, up 100,000. Immunity to light damage, light attack cost down 98%. Power up 9,000%. The recipe is just 1 Heart of Light, since a survival space Heart of Light placed in the grid converts to its Minecraft form and back with a cosmic coin, and JI cannot tell me how to obtain the original. Further pages list light sets, pollution sets, darkness sets with even more terrifying stats, and as the names grow ornate, the power falls off, confirming the truly powerful items have the simplest names. Back at my doorstep with wheat seeds I crafted, I drop another crafting table, hammer out a stone axe, and head for the chest, which sits east of the hut. I look directly into the sun, bright but not dazzling since I have not added that mod, and my gut says it was morning when I arrived, but feels like afternoon. I stand statue still and watch the sun drift off my visual focus in no time, so daylight only lasts 3 or 4 hours. The Heavenly Tao confirms it, 1 hour to nightfall, 8 hours of dark dim monsters spawning from shadow, not particularly dangerous, easily dispersed or killed by light. Monsters that drop, that I can grind. I am already seeing mob farms and infinite resources in my mind. The regional chat lights up, the dark elf complaining about gathering at night. The cat person worried about her flipped schedule. Fenrir bragging he is nocturnal anyway. I ask whether werewolves turn into wolves at night, and Fenrir says warriors blessed by the wolf god ascend into powerful 90% werewolves under the moon. So the wolf god is real, just like the dark elf's goddess of night, who has blessed her so the dark monsters will not attack tonight. The cat person asks if humans are nocturnal, and I tell her theoretically not, but I can go either way, since to me sleep is mostly a means to skip the night. She reports surviving on sticks, grass matches, and dried fish from her chest. Gods that can bless beings inside the survival space means this whole survival game might be the handiwork of gods, a wild conjecture too far from me to act on. Fenrir refuses to lose and announces he is starting fire by rubbing sticks, while a 96% bovine bellows for fire in trade for the wood he rammed loose, and a minotaur, sharing the same head, offers to deal. Only 20 beings out of 1,000 have spoken, so more than half the survivors likely have no mature language at all. The mod store lists agricraft at 10,000 points, nothing for nothing at 1,000, flatulence fertilization at 50, because as everyone knows, if you can add mods at will, there is no survival in Minecraft. My starting chest, instead of food or fire, hands me a single sturdy stone axe at black iron grade, 800 grams, sharpness 1, exactly what I needed, because my real source of mod points is recycling survival space items, and this black iron axe converts to 50, ordinary grade depreciates to single digits. I dump everything into flatulence fertilization, the lazy man's god tier mod, leaving 3 points. I hop to the lakeside, drop another crafting table, craft 2 furnaces and a stone shovel and hoe, sprint to the desert and shovel 63 blocks of sand. No trees grow at the oasis edge, so left alone the land desertifies. But once I have nothing from nothing, I can convert desert directly to soil. Back at the lake, I break the last 14 eucalyptus logs into planks for fuel. Smelt all 63 sand for 63 glass blocks. The ground will not till, so I shovel the topsoil off and slap it back, leveling the patch instantly, then till the farmland, plant wheat seeds and a eucalyptus sapling converted to its Minecraft form, and jog the rows. Green particles cascade up, wheat ripens in a blink, the eucalyptus rockets to a meter wide and dozens of meters tall, and eucalyptus drops absurd quantities under Minecraft assimilation, well over a stack from one block tree. I harvest, fell, replant in the same hole since the assimilated version has no roots, stuff the furnaces with planks, and start smelting glass and boiling water in bottles I craft. As the sky darkens, I smelt a charcoal piece, craft 4 torches, and the one in my hand throws a soft glow 10 meters out. Beyond the perimeter, shadows flicker, none larger than my fist, none crossing into the lit zone. The regional channel has detonated, beings begging for fire and wood, offering whatever junk fell out of their starter chests. I do not lack wood, but a cubic meter of planks does not sell as is, so I check the mod list and find plank deconstruction for 3 points, spending me to 0. Each plank breaks into 25 wood units, so a cubic meter of logs is 100. Logically, anyone with a tree and fire survives one night, but plenty are still desperate and I am not turning down money. With no exchange rate, I quote based on desperation. 1 coin for 5 wood or 1 for 20. Squeezing every coin and trade item I can. Anonymous trades hide the seller's race, so I make my dirty money in peace. Channels 14, 15, and 16 all ask for wood, soil, and sand too. The survival space restricts certain items per race, so soil and sand stay tradable for humans even as beings dump strange weapons not suited for me, which I convert into mod points. Almost nobody else sells wood. Not even the tree-ramming cowbro, probably because the oasis is finite and he will not overexploit. The chat fills with monster reports, things crawling up from underground. The cat person grateful they fear light, Fenrir gleefully smacking bugs that drop only cosmic coins. The bugs cannot get through fur or hide, and the dark elf is immune. And Fenrir confirms no other drops, hundreds smacked for a dozen odd coins. Without drops I cannot be bothered to hunt. 20 stacks of logs later the order's thin, and my panel reads 6,543 cosmic coins, half from chopping drops, plus 5 iron ore, 5 copper ore, 1 gold ore, 1 spirit stone, and 1 thunder element crystal. Ore does not convert, and the spirit stone and thunder element crystal look useful, so I keep them. Mod points sit at 1,250. Playing house ends here. I buy nothing for 1,000, the skyblock backbone, leaving 250. Time to develop. I smelt 3 iron ores into raw iron, craft a stone crook, and run to hook leaves out of the canopy, pulling silkworms and seeding them through the leaves. Circling the grove, I find a different tree, ridiculously short, 3 or 4 meters with flower buds about to break out. I do not recognize it and chop it anyway, and the system rewards me with 1 apple log, 1 apple sapling, 1 cosmic coin. An apple tree. My eyes light up, and this had better not be a vanilla oak situation where a whole tree yields nothing. I hop to the stone mountain, mine over a stack of cobblestone, and when I return, the woods' leaves have turned white. Classic Minecraft organism. A malicious biological invasion in real time. Vein Miner at 250 points cleans me out again, but time is life, and placing scaffolding to reach the towering canopies is a bigger waste. With it, the grove collapses into bare logs in no time, dropping over 7 stacks of eucalyptus saplings, 5 stacks of string plus 21, 4 stacks of silkworm plus 36, and 375 cosmic coins. The coin rate clearly boosted by sieve silkworms and string. I bite into bread, shovel another stack of sand, and hop back. I can eat the slow way, bland bread flavored, or the Minecraft way, a second of crunching as the food bypasses my mouth entirely without taste, and the crunch wins every time. My inventory is nearly full, so I craft a chest and dump saplings, string silkworms, wooden pickaxe, wheat seeds, and miscellany inside. I forge an iron bucket, scoop lake water, convert it to a Minecraft water bucket in my inventory, dig a 2x2x1 pit, pour and repeat for infinite Minecraft water. I craft a barrel, fill it, hammer sand to dust, drop dust into water for a clay block, break it for clay balls, craft wooden slabs in a composter, and turn extra saplings and wheat seeds into wheat compost for bone meal. Then an unfired crucible fired in a furnace into a crucible. I stick a torch down, suspend the crucible above it, drop in cobblestone, and walk off to wait for lava. Meanwhile, I dig a cobblestone generator pit 64 meters long toward the desert. The vein miner cap, and the trench alone hands me over 3 stacks of dirt and a stack of sand. As I work, I notice my body is changed. I can walk straight out of a meter-deep pit, a drop the height of my legs, with no effort at all. I am short on wood for sieves, so I try growing eucalyptus 4 in 1, planting 4 saplings in a 2x2 and dancing beside them. In a blink, a trunk 2 meters wide blots out my vision, its canopy invisible because there is no moon out here. I find my bearing and start cutting, and the stone axe takes a full minute to bring the giant tree groaning down toward the desert, where it lands with a thunderous crash and throws a dust cloud square into my face. My body does not get dirty and the dust does not enter my lungs, but the sensation is unpleasant and I spit at the air on principle. The tree yields 7 stacks of eucalyptus logs and 12 more, 64 plus 58 saplings, 3 stacks of sticks plus 61, and 109 cosmic coins. Over 7 stacks of logs from a trunk over 100 meters tall, and the thing had no roots either. It may have crushed monsters under it, but I cannot be bothered to check. The coin drops will be there next time I pass. Back at the lake, I craft 25 sieve frames in a 5x5 grid, mesh them with string, and sieve a single batch of dirt for seed variety, holding off until the cobblestone generator is done. The regional channel is quiet. While I drop the occasional cobblestone into the crucible, I browse the mod page. Apple skin, animation overhaul, and 3-dimensional model optimization sit at 1 point each. Sodium, zinc, rubidium at 10 apiece. Useless to guess without buying. The store carries only a few hundred mods out of tens of thousands, and the truly broken ones, all block trading or all mob milking, are absent, which is a pity. Each entry has been enhanced and optimized into a single compatible version, so Nothing from Nothing has only one entry, no heritage or creatio or adscatitio, balance unknown until I run with it. Scrolling, I see old friends, the mutation, prion, viral, fungal infection, flood, skulk infection, abyssal flesh, necromantic roots, all at several hundred points each. The Ring of 7 Curses is cheap at 10, future toy when I am invincible. Further still, Project E, Avaricia, and Better Cutting Board, the 3 mods of Divine Authority, where grinding alone makes you invincible, tagged at a 1 followed by 8 zeros, and those are not even the most expensive. The most expensive entry at 10 billion mod points is labeled simply Menu. 2 possibilities, save and quit to title screen, which might let me leave this survival space, or open to LAN, which any veteran knows is how you toggle creative on a save or cheats are off, the time stop of an ordinary menu being trivial in comparison. I try /game mode creative /game mode 1, game mode creative, every incantation I know, then dump the line of code into world chat where it disappears into the noise. Power fantasy novels lie, nobody is invincible from the moment they transmigrate. A black iron weapon is 50 mod points, which puts every divine tier mod in a different solar system, and JI cannot even tell me how many points a true divine artifact would convert into, but no single artifact is funding creative mode. Far away from me. Just farm. I scoop lava and pour it bucket by bucket into the trench. For 64 blocks I need 64 buckets of water and 13 of lava. Because the flow physics differ, water is easy after rigging 5 or 6 infinite sources. Lava is tight, so I run a half-finished pit for now. With the body temperature mod on, lava reads as hot, so I dig a hole at my feet, drop a water source, and stand in it. I mine 2 stacks of cobblestone, eat, dump the inventory into the chest except a stack of bread, and craft 18 stone hammers. Bread in my left, hammer in my right, I cycle hammering gravel and chewing. Normal in-game work speed is ludicrous in real life. 10 minutes later, all 18 hammers are broken, and I have over 30 stacks of gravel, the drops bouncing real-world style, and some pinging into the lava, which I let go because I am rich. A few more bucket runs and the generator pit is almost done. JI tells me my version of Nothing from Nothing upgrades meshes with 4 flints rather than 6, a major savings. I sieved a few flints earlier, but not enough, and even with Vein Miner pulling gravel, getting 70 plus flints by smashing single blocks crawls, so I sieve nearly 6 stacks of gravel for the flint I need. The sieves also drop vanilla ore fragments, which I craft together and load into the furnace. I pull every string mesh and upgrade to flint stiffened, ignoring the standard advice to keep a tier assortment, since I do not need the low tiers and can craft them on demand. With flint stiffened in place, I sift gravel continuously, stamping out chests to hold gravel, dripstone fragments, and coal separately. When bread runs low, I fertilize wheat. When gravel runs low, I hammer more. The first diamond I sift, I craft a clock, and a Minecraft clock is adapted to survival space rules, daytime taking only a third of the face, and the night is barely half over. By the time every mesh is diamond stiffened, dawn is still distant. The version of Nothing from Nothing I drew lets me sieve netherite scrap and upgrade templates from crushed netherrack, which is generous. And I try on a full netherite armor set with no discomfort and no visual change, still in the classic cyan short sleeves, purple blue jeans, and gray-black casual shoes. Visually it adds no security, but at least it does not ruin the look. The exaggerated pace of the game hits me in the gut here. 3 or 4 hours of vanilla Minecraft a day would yield a few sets of enchanted netherite armor in a week, and now I am playing the equivalent of 12 real hours a day with mods on, yet still it takes 7 or 8 hours to reach diamond freedom, not fast at all. I have nether portal materials, but I am not going through. Gods exist in this world, and the nether could be anything under survival space influence. I should at least have an infinity suit before I knock. Right now I am level 25 and cannot produce a single set of enchanted netherite armor. In the back half of the night another trading wave hits, beings running low on firewood, and I earn another 756 mod points drooling at experience crops and harvest experience at 1000 points each, neither affordable yet. Plenty still want wood but have nothing special to trade, so I post an open offer: wood, stone, coal, copper, iron, gold, and diamonds for special items. And wait, nobody knows what minerals are for, so no offers come in. And I begin to wonder if the survival space is an unfinished product, or what exactly it wants me to do. Out of boredom I run to the world border. 200 meters into the desert an air wall stops me, and beyond it the same desert continues to infinity. A loop confirms a circle 400 to 500 meters in radius around the lake. I build a spiral staircase around the lake to test the maximum height and to check whether Minecraft water MLG works, increasing the drop carefully and testing ordinary water and Minecraft water separately. Ordinary water does not prevent fall damage, normal physics, but Minecraft water works. Even a sliver underfoot nullifies impact, and its flow spreads into a circle normally, the 7:1 ratio holding. A 10 centimeter drop carries 70 centimeters. I reach that conclusion because I notice block placement here lets me angle and stagger blocks freely. A 10-degree tilt or a 10 centimeter offset, the biggest perk of conforming to reality. The staircase climbs dozens of meters without hitting any ceiling, but I stop. A 1 meter wide bare staircase is terrifying in a way unrelated to height. I move to the desert air wall and build vertically about half a meter from its edge, jumping a meter into the air and slapping blocks under my feet, touching the wall every few blocks. After a dozen blocks the wall has crept closer, 20 centimeters from my edge, and with 14 blocks under me the contact point is 15.7 meters above the ground. I jot the numbers, break the blocks back down, trust Minecraft water MLG but refuse to gamble my life on it. Facing away from the oasis, I plant a block half a meter from the wall and build a 16-block horizontal row. The wall again 20 centimeters off at the 16th, then stand against the wall and trigger a single column vein mine straight down. A pit opens, the sand impossibly unmoved, and under torchlight the air wall reveals itself as a clear curve. A bit of geometry in the picture resolves. The air wall is a sphere with the oasis at its center, radius 400 to 500 meters. Anyone who plays Minecraft wants to know how big their world is. A sphere under 1,000 blocks wide leaves no room for large builds, and I wonder if there is a way later to expand it. The first day is almost done, and I hop back to the oasis, where regional chat has revived. Fenrir complains of sleepiness after a full night of bug smacking. The Catkin tribe purrs that night sleep was uncomfortable but enough, and the Elf tribe says the night here is not even 1/5 as long as her planet's. The cat person is shocked. Her nights at home are only half as long as ours. The 96% Tauran tribe reports a bad night. Fire died halfway. Bugs made his hide itch, and the Minotaur, who calls him Brother Head, asks why he did not just ask for fire, since the Minotaur was wandering bored all night, his race active 1,000 hours and asleep. 300. Brother Head is a strange nickname. No one else surfaces, sleeping or lurking like me. Just as a sliver of light shows on the horizon the sky shakes, and the wave of information that arrives is enormous. As I had suspected, the survival space until now was not the full version. The Heavenly Tao calls the first 3 days a newbie screening, and the first day's purpose was to filter out low-tier organisms, bugs and bacteria and fungi, and the survivors will each receive the blessing of the deity they believe in. All of them, the system says. I freeze, because I have no deity. The god of wealth I quietly worshipped probably did not transmigrate with me. I push everything else aside and open the panel, where a new column has appeared, Divine Blessing, and in my row it strikingly displays, My Divine Blessing, reads as 2 lines of pure gibberish, name and description both garbled symbols. They are not even going to let me play, one less buff than everyone else, and as a player with cheats I clearly deserve a bonus. I let it go, since the path of Minecraft is inherently invincible. I close the panel and open regional chat to pick a nickname. A Heavenly Tao feature warning that every being should use a pseudonym, since there are methods to attack people through their real names. Part of me wants to ask how anyone could even know which name is mine, since calling myself Steve already mispronounces the canonical truth. Still, I type 3 letters and register him. Perfectly reasonable, the handle only needing to be unique in the region. I open the mutual aid group, which the Heavenly Tao built from day 1 rankings. Top 5 in one chat with everyone below split into larger groups. Other channels keep only chat now, trading restricted inside your group. The supposed balance is full of holes, since most beings at the bottom probably have no written language. The survival space is not ensuring fairness, it is selecting the superior and making them better. I sit at number 1 in our 5-person group, with 10% Ratkin Zivina, 20% Catkin Meow, the Elf Ivy, and 60% Werewolf Fenrir Lycaon behind me. Second place is someone I have never heard speak. The last 3 are my nocturnal trio, codenamed Strange except Ivy's, with Brother Wolf either honest or arrogant enough to use his real name. Fenrir opens with a laugh asking why Brother Him calls himself Flying Stiff Leg Hair. I reply with a question mark. Meow says no, he is clearly tail diving into a star, then turns on Fenrir asking what sticking a fishbone in the throat is supposed to be. Fenrir asks back what digesting 6 stars of rare and half a gulp even means. Ivy says the survival space is transliterating our names so every codename sounds insane to the others. And I agree. I asked Brother Wolf why he used his real name. He clarifies that Fenrir is the wolf god of his people, and Lycaon is his pack's codename. His personal codename's still missing, so it functions like a long surname. I say my handle basically means him in our language. Meow says hers is the special little meow her people use praying to the goddess of luck, and my eyes light up at the image of cat girls praying in synchronized meow. Ivy says hers is just part of her name. Meow it mentions Yevina, joking 10% human and 10% rat is half the most perfect race and half the legendary filthiest food. Which makes sense, since cat civilization would consider rats too filthy. I ask if Shavina is silent because her people have no written language. 3 question marks bloom from Fenrir, Meow, and Ivy. Shavina calls me little guy and says it is impressive I do not know basic knowledge yet outscored her. Ivy asks gently which god I believe in, since the answer should have been given before entering. I stall, mumble that he is rather, and cough. The truth is I had transmigrated to this earth for under half an hour before being transmigrated again, so I have not seen the humans here, or what god they pray to. Ivy says I actually believe in such an irresponsible god. Fenrir tries to convert me to the wolf god of endless power. Meow snaps the goddess of luck is better. Fenrir says fate should be held in one's own hands, and Ivy tells them both to stop and follow the goddess of night for dark magic instead. Jivina asks why I am not arguing faith, and I ask if she is any better, and she says she is very devout, which is exactly why she cannot argue. I keep my doubts locked, since exposing my uniqueness before gods could end me. This survival space gives off the vibe of gods playing with crickets. Each species dropped in to screen the strongest, and a wild cricket without faith could be wiped on a whim. The only answer is to focus on development and unlock creative mode, the only thing that might let me face gods. Even that is not immortality, since mod monsters and weapons like the anvil blade or certain titans kill in creative. I also do not know if I am running Java or Bedrock, since I have the Bedrock achievement system but many Java mods, so it must be a fusion. 756 mod points I think what to trade for. I open the mod exchange and notice the slot where the JEI inventory lived now holds a custom mod, different background, clickable, no price. I open it with a thought and find a blank page with a familiar 9-slot crafting table. Visualizing a recipe displays its exchange price. I try the transmutation table, which pops in at 150 mod points, 50 for the Philosopher's Stone and 100 for the table. The exchange button lights up, my intent fires before my brain, and just like that I have it. Diamond, 4 redstone, 4 glowstone, I have plenty from gravel. I smelt 8 cobblestones, add obsidian, and craft 2 transmutation tables, placing one beside the crafting table and feeding the other into itself. An ethereal interface floats above showing 260 EMC in the corner. The custom mod is absurdly powerful, probably from the divine blessing, or maybe just my own ability awakening. Either way, I will use it. Reskinning the Philosopher's Stone and table jumps the prices to 5,000 and 10,000 mod points, a 100-fold markup so existing mod items are the bargain. Editing the Philosopher's Stone recipe to a dragon egg plus 4 nether stars plus 4 elytra drops it to 10 mod points, so the custom mod follows its own equivalent exchange. The transmutation table was fairly priced, and the real treasures are still Project E's dark matter and red matter. For mischief I price a cosmic dominion sword from 1 dirt. Count 8 zeros, same price as the entire Avaricia mod, and back out fast. The 10 billion priced menu has save and quit and open to LAN at 7 billion each, so unbundling costs more than the bundle. Enable cheats is 7 billion open creative kill and TP between 5 and 6 billion, but /GameMate survival cannot be found at all, while enable hardcore mode is 7 billion and /GameMate spectator only 50,000. None of my harsh mods like body temperature or realistic tree felling are findable, which means I am in survival mode, the respawn kind. Fitting since hardcore death offers a return to title screen option I do not have. As a high-tier player, I have no intention of dying, so life-saving measures still need to come. Commands fire by intent, no typing, but I cannot design weakened variants. Even 9 dragon eggs into a single-use survival command block shows too expensive. Sitting on 606 mod points, I plan EMC farming. The basic power flower bonsai pot lists at 150,000, dropping to 1,000 with a 9 emerald block recipe still too high. The haste torch base is 10,000, the recipe alone 500. Modifying it to 1 haste torch from 9 emerald blocks drops to 10 mod points. The compressed and double compressed cost 50 and 100 million for the double compressed. Nothing since real farmers count in scientific notation. Pushing the speed bonus from additive to multiplicative for independent multipliers jumps the price tenfold as expected. The ultimate crafting table at 9 emerald blocks costs 10, and yanking a block does not lower it, so 10 is the floor. The double compressed haste torch, 81 ultimate crafting tables, costs 1,000 mod points with unchanged EMC. A couple hours of labor barely yields 80 million EMC, so poor, but since torches stack independently, I do not need the power flower bonsai. I set the bonsai pot recipe to 9 emerald blocks, modify mature plants to auto-drop, buy it for 10 mod points. The ore bonsai planting recipe for emerald ore costs 300 and refuses to drop, so I buy it anyway. Then the enhanced haste torch at 9 ultimate crafting tables for 50 mod points, confirming stronger functions raise the floor. For full automation, I grab equivalent upgrades energy EMC link at 3 emerald blocks. For 10 mod points, an obscure device that converts items fed into it into EMC. Low tier fine since the haste torch buff lifts everything equally. I pull 1 bonsai pot, 6 emerald blocks, 1 emerald, 1 hopper, 1 EMC link, 7 haste torches. Dig a hole, stack the EMC link hopper and bonsai pot, no crouching needed thanks to real-life optimization. I drop in the emerald block and emerald, seal the other 5 sides with emerald blocks so loose emeralds cannot scatter. Place the haste torches at hopper height. Real-life optimization sets each torch's speed and range by intent on placement. Speed maxed at 4 times range maxed with Y limit 3, just enough to cover pot and link. The pot's fixed 1-minute maturation drops 2 to 3 emeralds, averaging 1 per second multiplied by 4 to the 7th for the 7 torches. By the time the last torch is placed, the EMC balance is at 8 digits, 10 million per second club. Not the limit either, since in-game the torch covers 9 meters and a block takes at most 80 torches, but real life has no block limits and a torch a dozen centimeters across can be squeezed in tightly. 1 minute later, the balance is much larger. The digits climb, 37, 38, with scientific notation tucked in the corner, the table highlighting the exponent. The God's processor handles 31 digits per second without strain, so the double compressed torch is unnecessary, and the 226 remaining mod points can wait. I look up at the sun, reminding myself the survival space has no moon since I saw none last night. The sun's trajectory is improper, rising from the direction of the shelter, so calling that east makes it now in the north even though it's set in the south last night. Half the day has passed. The path violates every rule of stars, but a God's creation can do that, since a good processor does not guarantee a good system. I search F3 on the exchange. 10,000, cheap since F3 is essentially a scouting eye for target information, biological information, biome, even hidden treasure chests. A standalone coordinate display is only 10 mod points, so I trade. The information appears directly in my mind without blocking my vision. My position reads -62.7, 1.25, -6.2. A few steps confirm the origin is the shelter spawn point. Direction follows Minecraft convention with Y as height and positive X and Z as east and south. So sun rises east, sets south, fine. Standing, squatting, bending over shifts the coordinates, confirming my head is the reference. Time to build. The small wooden hut is labeled damaged small wooden hut at level 0. Aesthetics -20, hygiene -20. Evaluated as a leaky decoration that lets in wind and rain. I ignore the snark and decide to build over it. I skip past small wooden hut, large wooden hut, small stone house, large stone house. The initial spirit aura matter at level 29 needs spirit stones 2,000, thunder elemental crystals 20,000, fire, wind, and earth elemental crystals 10,000 each, 20 million cosmic coins, and 100 to 200 million units of stone grade or higher materials, with optional conductive metals and flexible insulating materials, granting aesthetics plus 10,000 and hygiene plus 2,000. This is the highest I can build, since the next tier wants spirit crystals and techniques I lack. The transmutation table makes the materials easy. Today also unlocked converting precious materials to cosmic coins at a brutally stingy ratio, roughly 10 kilograms of coal or diamond. 1 kilogram of copper or iron, 100 grams of silver or emerald, or 1 gram of gold, each yielding 1 coin, 10 units each. Diamonds are useless outside jewelry, hardness not meaning wear resistance. Gold is my best vehicle, a cubic meter weighing nearly 20,000 kilograms, 20 million grams. Wood and stone must be broken below 1 unit to register, but metals go in whole. At just over 19 million coins, I convert 1 more gold ingot, feeling the classic Steve dissonance of weight that does not register. A mark of my divine body, and the balance ticks just over 20 million. The survival space treats 1 ingot as roughly 1 ton beyond expectation. I test the fire crystal, holding it and feeling warmth through my palm. The seller had insisted it was extremely hot and tried to push the price as a fire source, but I gave double the wood without haggling since my diamond axe chops 8 or 9 stacks in minutes, 50 or 60,000 units. The crystal feels only slightly warm, cooler than lava. I drop it into the crafting slot to convert into a Minecraft item, into the transmutation table, and it comes back at 20,000 EMC, slightly above an emerald. I take a stack, craft it back with cosmic coins, and the survival space accepts it cleanly. I clear fire elemental crystal from the table's memory, pull 1 back, try exchanging for mod points, but the panel pops a first ever notice that items learned by a transmutation table type mod can never be exchanged. My attempt to step on my own left foot with my right and spiral into the sky failed, but this proves Minecraft outranks the survival space, which means I outrank the gods. I turn the spirit stones and crystals into EMC, spirit stones 100,000 each, and the rest 20,000 each. and the rest 20,200 each, and the rest 20,000 each. So the manor's special materials cost only 1.2 billion EMC. Time for building materials. Using gold, diamond, and emerald would fit my status. Every player has built a diamond block dirt house in youth, but those are unsuited to construction. With unknown crises coming and unclear whether other creatures can break Minecraft blocks, I stick with the survival space's high-grade materials. The high-grade building materials factory needs spirit stones, thunder, fire, earth, wind, and metals. I have no water, wood, light, or dark crystals. Water crystal handles automatic water storage and self-cleaning pools. Wasted since Minecraft water never gets dirty. Wood crystal builds plant acceleration greenhouses, which the haste torch covers. Light crystal unlocks an automatic healing room and attack tower, hinting tower defense sequences. Dark crystal unlocks a stealth tower that partially hides buildings, plus another attack tower. My mod points should eventually go to low-level weapons and equipment. I plop the factory beside me. No point planning a location yet. The pre-unlocked recipe is spiritual jadeite, high-grade 10 spirit stones plus 20 units of jadeite per unit over 1 hour, with excellent insulation that protects internal wiring, high-strength corrosion resistance, self-repair, self-cleaning, many patterns and colors, each unit raising aesthetics and hygiene by 1. The factory spins up with mechanical drone, and I drop a double-compressed haste torch in the center at maximum range. The roar merges into one overloaded wail I find incredibly pleasant. A dozen seconds later, a block of spiritual jadeite is spat out and the world falls silent. Exchanging for mod points fails as expected, but the transmutation table prices it at 200,090 EMC, so a full manor costs 40 trillion, and I have enough for roughly 26 manors. 216 mod points left. I grab ultimate stacking for 10, setting stacks over 2.1 billion. A dozen gold blocks convert to over 300 million coins. I pull the materials, synthesize survival space versions. Construction, basic spiritualized manor. A god's eye view drops over me, the entire survival space from above with the ghost shape shifting by my will. 5 components only. Main house, cellar, warehouse, pavement, spirit stone powerhouse. I cancel the warehouse and cellar as useless. Make the main house a 3-story villa facing south, using the system's recommended plan, since I am not a designer. Leaving a large open space behind for future livestock farmland and back garden. Paths unpaved. Basic spiritualization means spirit stones generating electricity. The powerhouse tucked into the far northwest corner. For wiring, in my past life I heard some elites used gold. Almost certainly a rumor since nobody sane spends 1/10 of a house's price on wiring. But gold is not even as costly as 1 unit of building material here. The spiritual jadeite protects internal wiring so no insulation is needed, and gold wiring fits my status. The gold runs from the powerhouse along the path into the villa, the inside left to the system. I do not burn through a single ingot. Leftovers convert to coins. 4 main gates in cardinal directions and 4 side gates near the south. Wired electric. The remaining materials become the perimeter wall, 2 meters underground and 5 meters above, 1 meter thick, enclosing 150 by 200 meters, but the main house at 30 by 20 looks ugly inside that shape, so I adjust to a 70 by 50 front yard and a 120 meter square backyard. Building an orbital dragon-slaying cannon or power tower would be easy, but a home is harder, all the fault of those evil villagers who always took me in when I was homeless. Site selection, dead center of the oasis. The system says construction failed. Unknown substances cannot be overlaid, which must mean my Minecraft blocks. I dash around dismantling every Minecraft block, also testing whether water crafted from a bucket with cosmic coins keeps Minecraft properties. And when I tip the bucket out, the water soaks into the soil instantly. Good, since hard to get water later would be a problem. I reconstruct the manor, let the system's artificial intelligence pick patterns and colors. Confirm. Construction successful, a grayish-black perimeter wall threaded with gold blooms around me in the backyard. Notifications start rolling. First shelter in this region with hygiene 1000. Broadcast or stay anonymous, then first in this region with aesthetics 1000. Then first in the world with hygiene 10,000. On and on up to first in the world with hygiene 200 million. Same question every time. My head buzzes. All those congratulations and not a single reward. How stingy. The final evaluation stamps it basic spiritualized manor at level 29. Aesthetics plus 200 million 10,000. Hygiene plus 200 million 2,000. With a snarky line that it is built entirely of spiritual jadeite and I must be out of my mind. I push a group announcement that member him has built the first shelter in this region with aesthetics 1000, since flexing up front feels necessary if I will need special items from these people. Nobody jumps in, all building. I scroll up. Zivana's line telling them to stop arguing and go build had cut off the Nightwalker trio, who moved on to describe their blessings. Fenrir got a numerical stat boost, great strength and endurance, a natural minor. Meow got a luck buff, an adorable lucky cat girl, probably female. The buff wildly versatile, fishing endlessly with chances for treasure chests or pulling one from any activity. Lucky Meow will be my supplier. Ivy knows dark magic and is heading to a monster den to farm mobs, except I have no idea where a monster den comes from. Jivina easily tames animals and accelerates growth, raising livestock, except again I have no idea where the animals come from. Nobody else seems puzzled, so this must be divine blessing common sense I lack, which makes asking awkward. They had it mentioned me, but I had no notification. The settings button offers all notifications, at mentions only, all smart notifications, and at mentions smart only. The smart option's waiting relevance, but a god's word smart makes me uneasy, so I switch on all notifications. A ripple of information immediately drifts gently into my mind, whispering someone has sent a message. Fenrir says, "Human brother, you are amazing. Silence so long because you were secretly developing." I say I was just testing my divine blessing. Meow asks which god I believe in. I freeze. The god of equivalence. Jivina cuts in saying it should be some creator god. The cat and the wolf throw question marks, while I sit silent. Jivina explains her race has researched gods, and a human who lacks common sense yet develops extremely fast can only be a creator god believer, since a creator god almost never communicates with their believers, which is why they lack common sense, and the power of the blessing needs no discussion. She asks whether my divine blessing reads as garbled code, since a creator god's name is unspeakable. I confirm. Jivina says it is settled, and asks if I can introduce my abilities now, since we are a community of shared destiny. I believe most of it but cannot drop my caution. A transmigrator under the god's noses needs care, though it looks like I have a backer. The creator god who blessed the block man, Notch or him, in which case naming myself him should be fine. We are on the same side and only 2 pixels different. I tell the group I have some magic that is not too strong, since breaking and placing blocks counts. I can manufacture a few things. The main point, I can pay a small price to duplicate items, since equivalent exchange counts fine. Xvina asks about restrictions. None found so far. I cannot keep this secret because I need special items fed to me for energy. Jivina asks if cosmic coins work and if the cost is high. Instead of answering, I let the group ping with a chain. Him spent 10,000 coins to unlock level 1 mutual aid warehouse, then 100,000 for level 2, a pause for conversion, then 1 million for level 3, up to 1 billion for level 6, where I stop. A small favor breeds gratitude, a large one resentment. Wealth should not be flaunted. The bird that pokes its head out gets shot. The truth is converting requires placing gold blocks on the ground and I am too lazy. I drop 100 million coins into the warehouse and say duplicating coins is cheap. Cobblestone deconstruction costs 3 mod points, leaving 203. I drop 2.1 billion units of wood and 2.1 billion of stone into the warehouse and say duplicating basic materials is easy. Fenrir explodes asking what price I pay, swearing he will do his best since his mining cannot match my duplication. Lamenting that as a warrior of the wolf god he should be fighting, complaining his blessing gave him a mine instead of a monster den. Xvina says as expected of a creator god's blessing. The truth is duplicating costs almost nothing. While chatting I had multitasked an EMC farm, a glass house 10 meters tall covering 10 by 20 in the northwest corner. Emeralds erupting so densely inside it looks like a green ocean. EMC per second, a 26-digit number without pushing for peak, so I will not need power flower pots for a long while. I asked them to collect special items I cannot duplicate, like graded weapons and tools. With 203 mod points left and many things on my list, that is not enough, and I gripe that after 10 hours of development I still cannot fly. Fenrir drops a fine iron pickaxe from his starter chest, his only special item. Xvina drops a fine iron sword. Ivy drops 36 drops of goblin essence blood, 6 goblin wooden clubs, 4 goblin staffs, and 1 elite goblin great club, saying they were all just dropped and not useful. My eyes light up at the magical elf versus goblin's trove, but the next notification tells me I celebrated too early, since Meow drops a string of items that makes the chat scroll on its own. Meow drops a wall of notifications into the mutual aid warehouse, a small survival space expansion crystal, an electric shock tower blueprint, a spirit-powered individual combat armor blueprint, another small survival zone expansion crystal, a human language copying and learning scroll, an intact two-handed iron hammer, and more. The volume tells me there is another monster in this group, and Meow is living up to every lucky cat stereotype. I gush about a king of luck. Fenrir Lycaon accuses her of hiding her strength. Jivina asks if her initial luck stat really runs this high for a goddess of luck believer, and Ivy admits her piety can rival her own, while Meow demurs. From the exchange I pick up a rule: the more pious a creature the stronger its blessing, which leaves me wondering where that puts me, an exception with no patron. The space expansion crystal grows my radius by 10 meters, worth saving for a big build. The electric shock tower blueprint glows blue, decent quality, but I would never burn precious mod points on tower defense I can rid cheaper. The individual combat armor runs on spiritual energy, glows purple, adapts to race. High quality but useless since Steve with his mods will never lack offense or defense. The zone expansion crystal only changes the ground's nature without generating resources. So unplanted ground still erodes to desert, utter trash since Minecraft land has no concept of desertification. The human language copying and learning scroll is the strange one. A human records their language and common knowledge into it, and any creature using it gets vocal organs optimized, and learns that specific human speech, every tongue and handicap included. It clearly reads memory or consciousness, which makes me uneasy, but I am better off racing toward creative mode than getting paranoid about gods. The rest are blue and green weapons, meaning even Meow's lowest tier outranks the gray scrap and white commons I scraped together all night. The group divides loot. I contributed most, so I get tagged first, and I claim the scroll as the recorder so the others can learn from me, since it records once but teaches infinitely. The 4 pass on the rest of the weapons, and when I ask Brother Wolf if he wants the combat armor, he answers that the strongest warriors need no external help, so I file him under physical transcendence. I lift the scroll, heavy as parchment and runeless, and an instruction floods my mind to place a hand on it and mentally chant record. I do. Brace for some darkness. Feel nothing, and a line of text resolves naming it Human Steve's Language Learning Scroll. A note of solemnity rises since the scroll read my consciousness without my feeling it, but I shake the conspiracy theories out. I am still identified as human, which works since a block man is also a person. I drop the scroll in and ask why it specifies humans, and Jivina answers, humans may be the most recently born high-level intelligent life form, or just coincidence. The first interests me, because I had always read humans arriving 13 billion years after the Big Bang was already a short era, not the most recent. The other 4 use the scroll and become fluent in Chinese with bits of English and Japanese. Meow chirps the names look normal now, then with surprise notes humans have a specific term for her race, Catgirl, which she finds fitting. She then discovers humans have 2 genders and reacts in shock, Ivy joining her in disbelief, and I almost joke about countries with over 50 before reining it in. Meow says her race has always believed high-level intelligent races reproduce asexually. Ivy adds science superstition does not survive the survival space, and Jivina launches what I label Scientist Jivina's mini-lecture. She says most high-level intelligent races have only one gender because of divine blessings, which existed before the survival space and subtly reshaped each race's habits down to reproduction. Each blessing is singular in nature, so sexual reproduction's volatility blocks stable expression, and most races evolved into asexual reproduction. Meow remembers her grandmother said the last male cat girl died over 2 billion years ago. Ivy adds, her kind are products of the goddess of night's dark magic, so only magic-knowing high priests can manifest offspring. And Fenrir Lycaon casually drops that his race has 16 genders with different reproductive methods and offspring ratios. Brother Wolf's species is essentially Mendel's nightmare. Jivina mentions there should be a siege tonight, but the stone shelter and our abilities will handle it, and later we can build shelters aligned with race and blessing. She has the air of a rat hollow kin, knowing much and sharing little, and I use the pronoun she because biologically the party that carries and nurses is treated as female even in a single-gender race. I patrol the villa and convert unwanted tools into mod points. The interior is fully furnished down to pots and pans, with an infinite water rig sustaining a normal life, though the largeness leaves it feeling empty. Evening comes, the sun sets in the south, and from the balcony the vacant yard and lifeless landscape hit me with sorrow, so it is time for mods. Balance reads 2,345. The curio slot mod costs 1,000, but I chase cost effectiveness since direct mechanic mods are the worst value, and I still regret impulsively buying the transmutation table. I design a self-made curio bag with 9 slots holding any curio category. Active in inventory or hotbar, 81 haste torches at 1,200 mod points, ceiling far above the slot mod. The Angel Ring, 81 haste torches, floors at 100 mod points, wearer immune to fall and collision damage with slightly faster flight, and I optimize constant speed flight to anything from 0 to 20 meters per second, acceleration mode at 20 per second squared up to Mach 5, draw at 1 million energy matter currency per second. The curio bag costs 900 mod points floor priced, every extra slot adding 100, so 9 stays. Outside without moonlight the space is pitch black, and a siege in this dark would be dangerous. The Enchanted Golden Apple, vanilla at 10 mod points, I optimized to 81 curio bags, 10 trillion energy matter currency, with absorption 1000, resistance 1000, regeneration 1000, fire resistance, and night vision for 5 minutes. Regeneration is useless, since eating resets absorption, and level 1000 resistance blocks anything that could clear 2000 hearts in a second, but I keep them. I add that each apple permanently raises maximum health by half a heart, jumping the price to 1010. Since absorption is a shield and real health is the answer. That leaves 335. Optimized lighting, portable transmutation, optimized bedrock, mining tools, building wand, and eternal totem of undying are still on the wish list, but the netherite alloy sword handles fights, so lighting first. The super torch costs 10 mod points, adjustable intensity and range, storage to 50 digits, draw equal to radius in kilometers times intensity, max output light level 15. Uniform light that does not darken with distance. With my 30-digit reserve, Light level 15 across a 6 billion kilometer solar system radius would last nearly 100 billion years. And I joke I am as bright as 10 suns. I set a crafting table and an ultimate crafting table, craft everything, lay a row of curio bags for 81 universal curio slots, and slot an angel ring. Flight feels strange, no sensation, body still and untouching, drifting wherever I will it. And I am grateful I cannot get motion sickness. I plant an apple sapling, fertilize, chop and gather over 100 apples, less than reality but plenty for Minecraft. Chewing an enchanted golden apple, I fly to the roof, set the super torch at 1,000-meter radius, and light level 10, dump 20 digits of energy matter currency in, and leave it running. By now, monsters should be sieging, and when I look toward the perimeter, my pupils quake. Slender, distorted humanoid silhouettes stand at the wall, some composed of sharp, angular pieces like twisted, spliced metallic crystals, deep purple and black, ornamented with flowing blue and gold light as if energy were coursing through them. The material like both cold metal and translucent crystal, with conspicuous black and red light orbs where their heads should be. I recognize them as remnants, which means the gods stole the hollows from Zenless Zone Zero to populate the survival space. I let out an unethical chuckle and fly over them. They hammer the wall, the more humanoid ionized Nisrea gathering ether clusters to fire, while Thirtodia dive into the ground and erupt back out to strike. All of it just kicking up dust. A few Nisrea notice me and fire ether bullets, but I rise at 2 or 3 meters a second chewing apples and lose not a drop of health, which I find insulting. I drop to 2 meters above them, sword in my right hand, and sweep. A small arc knocks back every remnant in range, their corpses dispersing into aether energy, and within 10 seconds dozens become over 100 cosmic coins. I rise high to survey super torch and night vision stacking, and I can see desert thousands of meters out. So this is a monster siege. No wonder a stone shelter handles it, though I wonder why remnants, whether the gods were too lazy to design original monsters. I tell the system to please end the novice screening soon and stop being riddlers. The group lights up. Fenrir Lycaon dumps 3 battered iron armors, 6 intact, 5 damaged steel claws, and 20 or 30 more pieces between basic and black iron, worth probably 1,000 mod points. Ivy follows with goblin clubs, and I tell her all goblins are clay chickens before a dark elf's dark magic. Jivina drops 17 damaged holy crosses, 23 damaged paladin armors, 18 damaged paladin bardings, and 37 more basics, and I salute Sister Naw for smashing the hypocrites. Meow contributes low quantity all green bronze, 3 plague warriors hooks and 4 hammers, and corrects that the enemy started infighting before reaching her traps, only one left with a single breath by the time she arrived, and I suck in cold air at the echoes of her luck. I offer to duplicate basic supplies, and Meow asks if I can copy treasure chests. My eyes light up and I say I can try, and she drops Meow's golden lucky treasure chest in. The transmutation table reports items with tags cannot be learned, so I price a transmutation table optimized version that learns tagged items at 81 super torches, and the system kicks it back as too expensive. I tell the group I cannot, and Javina laughs that we two are cute little things, and most gods cannot duplicate chests either, but suggests Meow let me duplicate her favorite fish, once she catches and cooks it, and I promise to copy it perfectly. I run the rest of the haul through transmutation and land 4,396 mod points, suddenly rich. The transmutation table ring, 81 super torches at 1,000 mod points floor priced, enables mental transmutation without panels. The optimized building ring, 81 transmutation table rings, places blocks at will by thought, any shape and type, up to 64 trillion per cast, linked to transmutation inventory, costing 100 per since pushing the cap detonates into the 10,000s. Now any mental blueprint can drop a space-based dragon slaying cannon instantly. The optimized eternal totem of undying, 81 building rings, pays each resurrection and energy matter currency base 1,000. Since the value is 17 digits, I inflate functions while holding the base, and it revives me at 1 health for 10 billion energy matter currency. Clears pre-death buffs, grants 2 seconds of invincibility, then 10 minutes of regeneration 10,000, resistance 10,000, and fire resistance. I swap absorption for resistance, since health itself can keep climbing, and percentage healing would push the base to 100,000, so I wait. Modified bedrock costs 120 mod points, solid color dyeable craftable with glass, into transparent bedrock, or with torches into glowing bedrock. Hardness still -1, so it hardens the more it is hit. Planned as my main structural block. The Worldbreaker pickaxe from 81 modified bedrocks lands at 10,000, so I strip attack power, efficiency, and even the ability to break normal blocks, leaving only the function of breaking bedrock, which technically counts as picking it up, dropping it to 100. 1,186 mod points left. The Cosmic Dominion Sword runs only 10,000, with an algorithm setting hit health to 0, close to a kill command. The pay to win lowly at 200,000 bypasses some health locks but is short of a true kill, The niche Keikiku sword with the literal kill command runs 700,000 base, and the Sword of Eternal Love at the same price grants creative mode style invincibility through damage masking and hidden health. Path visible. Those two and a world breaker ring for under 2 million enables my own creative mode. I save the rest and stack toward 20,000. I craft and equip everything, and the panel pops up. Requirement detected. Mental power panel unlocked early. The group getting the same notice with a divine blessing of mental power limit raised 150% times physique, plus mental power boosting potions in limited supply. Javina marvels. Fenrir Lycaon asks if I can duplicate the potion. Ivy swears she will be my beast of burden in the next life if I can, and Meow shrugs it does not seem useful. I wonder briefly if that scroll absorbed novels from my head, because Ivy's sentence structure has turned suspiciously dramatic. The potion is bought with cosmic coins, group cap 5 bottles. I buy one without checking the price, and it looks like water in a glass bottle. Unlike weapons whose function differs between survival space and Minecraft versions, consumables like water or lava convert directly without a crafting table. I convert and learn, value 100 white energy matter currency, description that it can be drunk as water, and I drop 400 copies into the warehouse, 100 each. Ivy declares the kindness unrepayable. Fenrir Lycaon swears to perfect every cultivation technique tonight. Shivina says I am truly the creator god's devout believer and owes me a favor, and Meow strings several meows into a thank you. I wave it off, mutual aid being the point, and everyone goes quiet with their bottles. The panel finally explains, physique 380 with a question mark, agility 10 with a question mark, strength 10 with a question mark, mental power 7, the average human running 3 to 5 and my cap physique times 350%. The mental power line has no question mark, reasonable, since my body's limits high but my brain is what it is. The panel only appeared after I equipped the transmutation table ring and building ring, and search speed plus the precision, complexity, and ceiling of placement are all gated by mental power. Search is fine for 100 items, but placement caps at a super large dirt hut per cast or a standard mob grinder. The physical meaning of 7 is processing 7 frames per second. The potion raises mental power by 10, with no side effects, and I down them until I cap at 1,335. My mind clearing as if every stuck problem resolves, though mental power is not intelligence. It governs memory and imagination. The concrete change is that focused I can memorize a scene and replay and rearrange it, like active photographic memory. And I can design 3-dimensional builds in my head and drop them through the building ring. Maybe it is the boost, but I finally remember the chain mining ring, which ignores block type and chain destroys whatever my consciousness selects, growing in reach with higher mental power. It costs 100 mod points, valued 21 digits of energy matter currency, so I no longer need high-efficiency pickaxes, since for anything hard but breakable I stick a torch on it and the chain shatters it. With hunger deducted only for the selected item, nothing else to do and the night half over, I tell myself to sleep. The master bedroom has a soft bed over 2 meters wide, comfortable. From my sudden death until now is only a little over 20 hours, less than a day, yet so much has happened. An ordinary Minecraft grinder has been turned into a near Superman, close to a god in most respects aside from somewhat weaker attack power, immortal unless someone bypasses the totem's invincibility check, makes my abilities inert, wipes my energy matter currency or destroys the totem in my inventory. Unease creeps back that even my Steve abilities and the transmigration could be the god's work, but I tell myself it is borrowed worry. I cannot fall asleep, even neither physically nor mentally tired. I want to. After tossing, I design normal sleep, function to sleep normally like a normal creature, which would cost 0 if I already had it. 10 mod points for me. I sit silent, get up, place the crafting table, craft a Minecraft bed beside the regular one, a 1x2 meter single, pure white sheets and pillow no quilt. I lie down, close my eyes, feel nothing, and when I open them again it is dawn. The sky tremors come with the daily information but I have no heart for it. My chest churns and I spend the 10 mod points anyway, because no matter how powerful or special I am, I just want to live like a human. I make breakfast, only bread and water, but eat the human way, and decide 3 normal meals a day from now on, just to tell myself I am a human. Washing down bread, I plan the day. Today's challenge sounds terrifying and is nothing. Extreme heat and extreme cold. During 4 hours of daylight, the temperature climbs from 20 to 90 degrees Celsius in the first hour, holds 2 hours, then drops back to 20 by sunset. Then the cold plunges to minus 180 within 2 hours, holds 4 hours, and warms again. My senses are normal, but temperature will not bother me, though extreme heat might conceivably set me on fire, and I have no plan to add a body temperature mod since that would be shooting myself in the foot. Today's plan is construction inside the survival space. I conjure a max level enchanting table and enchant a silk touch pickaxe, having forgotten to give the transmutation ring enchantment learning, though I can buy an advanced enchanting table mod if I need higher tiers later. Silk touch collects grass blocks too, and after that the pickaxe is dead weight. I fly into the desert, set a torch, picture the destruction shape, and break the torch. A bowl-shaped void appears instantly, but unsupported sand does not float. It pours down with gravity and dropped items push up, so Minecraft destruction only bends physics at the edges. I had wanted to chain destroy all the sand and expand the floating oasis, but I will work around the physics. I fly back beside the shelter, plant a torch, fix range and shape, break it, then bulk place grass blocks on the slightly lower ground, so the villa's ground vanishes and the building drops a few centimeters before catching on grass. Then I set the torch, focus, and a thud covers my vision with dropped items falling at constant speed. Soon the desert outside the boundary forms a clean hemisphere, and I do not know if Minecraft characteristics keep external matter from falling or the survival space refuses outside resources. But the only thing left in the whole space is the floating villa island, plus the dropped items at the bottom. Mild compulsion sends me down to circle and pick them up, sand totaling a little over 200 million, suggesting a space radius around 460 meters. I convert the sand and fly back to the boundary. Jivina said monsters come from outside, so I set up a shield, easy since the boundary already prevents placing blocks outside. I lay transparent bedrock across the inner face, a glass layer over the boundary, and since I can choose block angle freely, even cubes cover the surface. Plus it does not get dirty and is invisible without close inspection. The shield should defend against monster attacks since the netherite alloy swords 8 points of damage. One-shot low-level remnants with tens of thousands of health, meaning everyone shares Minecraft mechanics, or rather everyone gets assimilated by Minecraft. The health display ring costs 10 mod points, displays health and damage. Right after buying it, I see the mod panel has gained a recycle function, deleting existing mods, deactivating their items, and returning 1/10 of the purchase price. Not actually useful. Recycling chain reaction collection and transmutation table gets a few dozen mod points back. Better than nothing. This must be the divine gift strengthened again today, and though no one mentions it, I dare not ask. So maybe tomorrow it strengthens once more since the novice screening lasts 3 days. My demands are modest. 1 free mod a day would do. Just as I move to expand the Sky Island, Jivina messages offering intelligence and payment for help. I tell her to drop the formality and say what she needs, and she explains today's challenge is hard for the animals and plants she raises since she lacks cooling and heating methods. I am amused, having assumed everyone else was a super big shot. I designed thermostat glass for 10 mod points, holding 26 degrees Celsius always while conducting heat normally. Then pay another 10 since mod items cannot synthesize into survival space recognized items without paying matching mod points. 20 does not hurt anymore. The description reads, thermostat glass ignores gravity, holds 26 degrees Celsius, extremely strong alignment and adsorption between pieces, placement final since it cannot be retrieved without special means, and only disappears if broken. The maker line the authority of a redacted god. I drop 1,000 into the warehouse and tell the group to take some. Meow gushes through meows about building a nest from it. Ivy and Fenrir like out and decline, but lavish praise on me, and Jivina says her intelligence is wholly insufficient to pay. I tell her mutual aid is the point, and she promises to share what she can. Her intelligence concerns the tasks and rewards after the beginner screening. She presumes we have all noticed tonight's monsters fit legends or works of film and television, and come from post-apocalyptic worldviews with resource abundance similar to our spaces. When the sun sets tonight, we earn the right to build an exclusive shelter. When it rises tomorrow, each survival space opens a secret realm whose other side is the worldview those monsters originate from, roughly the closest world to memory. Then the survival space enters its first season, during which we acquire abilities or assistance from that world to protect our shelters. She trails off about something occasional during the season, and again at the end, then cuts herself off, saying she has reached her limit, and we should prepare. The night-walking trio marvel and discuss. I thank her and fall into deep thought, realizing I can travel to Zenless Zone Zero tomorrow, which is great. The earlier parts were notice, but her unfinished sentences are the real point, and the trio guess at what she could not say. I figure it out myself, that sieges happen occasionally during the season and a large one at the end, and the trio reach the same conclusion. The gods are not good at building systems, and only the season's length stays hidden. I am not worried, since abilities and assistance from Zenless Zone Zero plus another trade round should net me 10,000 mod points, and that world's combat power should not bypass the totem or withstand the Cosmic Dominion Sword. Then I wonder if Zenless Zone Zero is even post-apocalyptic, since its world is essentially New Eridu in the Outer Ring, though the Outer Ring still has resources beyond a survival threshold. I think back to myself the night before last frantically farming wheat and wood and moving into a small villa, and yes, that is the vibe. Resources fairly abundant, crisis pressing in. I sit by the torch on the roof, weighing whether to expand the survival space this width hopeless for large builds. A giant dragon comes to mind, but I drop it, since the sky promised my shelter blueprint by evening, so a vibrant sky island will do. Before my sudden death, I had no ambitions and no qualifications to chase any, and now extraordinary abilities give me both, with unknown challenges providing the motivation. The sun is visibly larger than yesterday's, the god's temperature trick laughably crude, and as my butt itches, I scratch it and let the warm light pull me toward a doze. I won't waste the nap. Enchanted golden apple auto-eating ring for 100 mod points. Apples burning through me while I drowse. Elsewhere, the others cope. A werewolf, mostly human body but wolf-headed and limbed, sunbathes in a wolf sprawl. A pure white elf flashes dark light at club-wielding goblins in a demon cave, muttering she has to hurry before the heat costs her maximum mental energy. A dark-clad woman with a long tail drives holy radiant creatures into a glass house until heat shoves them past rage, and when a several-meter golden dragon lunges with a high cry, her tail spears its skull, black-red poison dyeing the beast dark and shrinking its wails to an orb that vanishes between her brows, and she remarks that an adult might have given her trouble. In another space, the pink cat girl Meow paddles clumsily in her pond, her panicking fish swimming into her mouth and melting on contact, the larger ones ferried in her jaws to a glass nest, while she mused that at least she didn't release them all, and that once her luck is higher, she'll spend a whole day fishing. Not every intelligent creature manages it, since the novice screen isn't filtering for intelligence, so brute-bodied dullards muscle through, while clever creatures without the right divine gifts die. By evening, the regional chat shows 360 survivors out of 1,000, higher than I'd guessed, but the novice period has already culled 2/3 of intelligent creatures. The sun sets, the sky shivers, the message short. A shelter core will condense in each space's center. Survivors must claim it for their unique blueprint. The core can be moved somewhere safe, and if shattered, collapses the space and exiles everything inside to the void. Exile hardly sounds severe. The void surely isn't the void, and block placement plus the enchanted golden apple make void damage a joke. Still, I'll guard it. A purple diamond crystal hovers not far from the villa, the core having obligingly condensed away from my dead center build. I fly over, grab it, and notice 2 crystals in my hotbar. The first a shelter core with no description, the second HIMS MC world key, also blank, and since contact was supposed to give my blueprint, the key must be it. Advanced item description: glasses cost 10,000 mod points, too expensive, but a narrow version covering only these 2 costs 10, so I craft it. The shelter core, if shattered, collapses its space, with a note that placing it in inventory may make it hard to find, which amuses me. The HIMS MC world key the system calls useless in the survival version, but convertible into a portal to HIMS MC world, a world with no boundaries, the portal vanishing once him enters, warning that outside the survival space the survival system can't be used, that to return I should buy a teleportation stone monument mod, and that the other side might be empty. No boundaries. Perfect. I tuck the core into a corner of inventory, convert the key for teleportation stone monument and warp ring at 100 mod points. Add a feature to edit the monument's look later, plant a vanilla monument in the front yard, refuse to renovate the villa, and step through. The World Rules panel opens, 24 hours per day, plant growth unchanged, mob and hostile spawning enabled, explosions destroy blocks basically vanilla with chunk loading preserved, and day length the only real difference. 10,000 mod points permanently buying the right to modify a rule. I look up and the sight scares me into flying straight up, since the world really is just the single grass block I landed on. My items are intact and EMC still ticks, where this would have been single block survival. First, the EMC farm. My balance only stretches to tens of billions of colored bedrock, not enough long term, so it's power flower bonsai pot time. I recycle the plant pot and emerald planting recipes and grab the ultimate power flower bonsai pot enhanced version. 81 chain link rings, a 23-digit EMC build cost, a 47-digit output per second. The line trends that way, primary needing 24,000 seconds to break even. Ultimate only 2. Only the spawn chunk is force loaded, so the farm goes below it, and since haste torches need full blocks within a 4-meter radius and stacked multiplicatively, the maximized layout is one pot centered with as many torches as possible inside. I conjure a pure black bedrock cube 11 blocks on a side, the pot in the middle catching nearly 2,000 haste torches. EMC reads 1,197.98. That'll do. I drop a teleportation monument, bounce to the villa courtyard, confirm EMC still grows, dismantle the backyard emerald farm, and accept the villa can come down later. I post that everyone should tell me when they're ready for their secret realms since I can hand out special items. Ivy answers with an expectation JPG, says she spent the day fighting goblins, and pushes a haul through 236 goblin clubs, 179 of something else, and more. I thank her, buy enchanted golden apple conversion for 10 mod points, and just give it away. One consumed apple permanently raises constitution by 1 and temporarily by 4,000, grants extreme recovery, ignores fire damage, gives night vision for 5 minutes. No core so safe to eat. The flavor line calling it a creation of the asterisk symbol god's authority. The milk bucket clears all status effects, converted into a 200 milliliter plastic bottle. I deposit 40 apples and 40 bottles into system storage, and tell everyone we're family. 10 each. Protect yourselves. Balance, 7,890. Cosmic Dominion Sword. I'm coming. Ivy promises to clear her dungeon by dawn. I tell her not to rush. Jivina says the friend assistance function should open soon and she'll thank me in person. The cat and the werewolf are presumably asleep. Back in the MC world, the spawn area gets a teleportation hall, the world's starting point and default entry. A towering temple rises. One hall inside, a centered teleportation monument edited to large blockman Steve standing pose. The dozen-meter pixelated Steve, rough but imposing. I step out, sun rising. As a pure-blooded Korean and hardcore Minecraft player, what's engraved in my DNA is farming. Farmland for 1 mod point, otherwise unobtainable but cheap. Villager spawn ring, 10 mod points, no time to cure zombie villagers. Then I grind mental power potions to 170,000, but with agility stuck at 10 with a question mark I can't chug fast. Each bottle gives only 10 constitution, so tens of thousands of bottles. The buy open drink sell loop, 2 hours of pain. Earth style, super farmland technique. Every 9x9 plot gets a centered water block, a torch below, a composter above. Wheat matures instantly, villager huts beside it. Repeat until tens of thousands of blocks in every direction are identical. The view from the temple almost entirely gold. Then placing villagers. After the first I watch it, perfectly vanilla, square, dim, big-nosed. Locking eyes a second before sensing a job site. Walking to the composter with its head twisted back to stare at me until it can't turn further. Light particles bleeding off, and a square straw hat appearing from nothing. I keep placing dents every house with a composter, since some idiots always pollute the pool. An agility bottlenecks the step at another hour. Nearly 1 million hectares of farmland, tens of millions of villagers. The view all gold. Underground, I lay 100+ layers of stone beneath 3 or 4 of dirt, capped with bedrock, since this world has no max or min height. Plant a tree directly south of the temple. Viewed from the entrance, it should have world tree presence. Canopy ideally overhanging the roof. By now, everyone has picked up their apples and milk buckets and thanked me, meaning dawn outside. And Ivy's second batch of weapons has arrived. Cosmic Dominion Sword. I'm coming. I peel off 13,760 mod points and teleport back, the sky screen shivering as if waiting. It essentially repeats Xavina. The portal is both reward and challenge, because if every member of the same kind inside a secret realm dies, the shelter core shatters too. A threat aimed at my weak spot. Cosmic Dominion Sword, 10,000 mod points bought. An ink-black sword settles into my grip, with starry sky flowing along the blade, motes of starlight scattering as I swing. Where the shelter core had been, a blue diamond crystal floats softly glowing. Him's Secret Realm 1 core. A special item that opens a portal to a certain world, noting I can pick the timeline on first opening, and may stay in a past timeline for up to 24 hours, with time flowing equally in both worlds. Hopefully past means around the fall of the old capital, since that period could iron out a stack of regrets. Time flow rate I don't care about, this is only the first season. I trigger the core, a portal like a hollow rift opens. The truth is out, it leads inside the hollow. I turn it off, teleport to the MC world, find the portal still usable, open the rift to the left of the Steve monument, and let the look adjust when in Rome. The 1 meter circle becoming a 2x3 rectangle, the spherical foam becoming square particles. I shift it up 1 block, ring it in obsidian, and now my nether portal has changed texture. So on the other side of the temple, I build a matching nether portal and the symmetry returns. For now, Zenless Zone Zero. Initiate. The author tacks on a disclaimer that this is based on game lore. Controversial details follow this book's rules. The author trying to restore the originals while refusing official backstabs. I select past. My vision blacks, then clears on skyscrapers, crowds, and a rising sun. So many people means they haven't died yet. I ask a passerby if this is New Eridu, and the young man tells me I must be from the Outer Ring. That Shin Eridu rolls off the tongue, but there's no Shin in the name. He misses my dark joke since New Eridu isn't as readable as World War II. It's before the fall of the old capital, but timing is unclear, and since the portal chose this point, it must be less than 3 days out. If humans here go extinct, the shelter core shatters, so this is likely a difficulty discount. Since by New Eridu, pure humans are rare and threats are everywhere. I'm not planning to stop the fall or steer the major plot, because combat power here isn't high, but conspiracies are dense. The Eulogy Society watches like a hawk, seemingly trying to bring the progenitor down to remake the world. The people behind the 4 major AIs unknown, even the mayor of New Eridu carrying calculation, and even the siblings' teacher Focalors, or rather Carlos, shrouded in mystery and later collaborating with the Society to investigate Hollow Zero. The Society might not be pure villains, since although Hollow Zero erupted during their gathering, there's no evidence tying them to it, and maybe their progenitor also wants to remake and save the world, just with slightly evil power. Time to study the Zenless Zone Zero mod, which I thought meant playing ZZZ inside Minecraft, but in fact means literally playing Zenless Zone Zero. The mod has 3 functions. First, everything in Zenless Zone Zero is judged as a Minecraft block needing no conversion, so I can't harvest special items for mod points. To earn them here, I follow local custom and build bonds via the trust system. 5 levels. Each of the Phathon siblings worth 1,000 per level. Agents 500. Important supporting characters 100. Random non-player characters nothing. This trust represents actual trust, unlike the game where it acted as affection. And I'm not a 6th Street succubus building a harem of both sexes, so trust is the easier lever. The highlight is the Zenless Zone Zero necklace, which once bonded gives the wearer an exclusive account, playable after finding a medium. The game is heavily stripped. No main or side quests. Quests must be cleared in reality by the wearer before appearing in-game. The map explored in person, but stamina is retained, so resources and characters can be developed. Yes, developed. The mod keeping monetization, gacha, and character growth, the 3 greatest inventions in history. The real utility is that for every agent whose trust hits level 3, the necklace spawns a subsidiary agent ring, and an agent wearing one can resonate with the owner to activate the Zenless Zone domain. Combat inside transforming into game mode. More details for those who know. I spot a ramen shop, not Master Chiaopu's, but the chef is a robot and looks more advanced. With no currency and gold a bad pay method, I buy a mini-map mod, mark the spot, and handle currency first. Alistair is peaceful. Official forces stably harvest the hollows, tunnel robbers and rope masters extremely rare, with the titles not yet existing, so unknown gold at a bank would invite trouble. I glance at the minimap with hostile creatures, neutral creatures, other creatures, non-player characters, supporting characters, agents and Phathon all on distinct icons. My target's the Phathon siblings. The necklace isn't bind only to me, so I'll farm trust and hand one to Belle. As for Wise, who's that? Their teacher is a senior researcher, definitely with pocket money. The Minerva district is one of Alistair's 2 most prosperous areas and home to the Helios Agency, and only when close do I remember the young siblings are members. Orphans raised as students and experimental subjects, so well equipped they rarely go out. I buy a skin swap mod, swap the Steve outfit for a white lab coat, add gold-rimmed glasses and a balding with long curls hairstyle, and tell the door guards I'm looking for researcher Carlos. The officers see a brilliantly bald man in a white coat as if he stepped straight from a lab, lead me into the visitor's room, without suspicion, and bow that they'll notify her. Shockingly smooth, no one bothers a senior researcher for nothing. Ether Aptitude Enhancement Potion, 10 mod points. World-shattering ring, 1,000. Ultimate crafting table ring, 10. I plant a mini teleportation waypoint on the table, pop back to the MC world, drop a crafting table, synthesize all 3, return the loading shaving close to a second off my disappearance. I activate the world-shattering ring and punch the waypoint barehanded to break and reclaim it. The potion is part of the Zenless Zone Zero submod, so no extra mod points for a conversion recipe, and since seeing the siblings now is hard, this potion is the new path to currency, since asking some stranger for a single coin to feed the transmutation table would be beneath my station. In Zenless Zone Zero, physical adaptability to ether is innate and nearly impossible to improve, the few with an aether adaptive constitution able to stay in hollows longer, and to fight with ether to some extent, some awakening special abilities, Vivian seeing the future, and Ida Healy the past. The Phathon siblings' origins are unknown, said to be orphans from the old capital. Their adaptability so high it endures the HDD system's side effects, which lower ether adaptability, yet they used it to escape the Hollow Zero that took the old capital. The mayor of New Eridu upgrades the HDD 11 years later, restoring them, the upgrade's origin unknown. The Helios Agency would absolutely care, especially Carlos, who treats Phathon like her own. The door opens, and a capable woman in a white lab coat sits opposite me, asking if I wanted to see her. I take the potion out directly and explain it improves ether adaptability. Carlos notices the bottle appearing from nothing, which starts her believing me. I tell her I researched it myself, am short on funds, want to sell a few bottles, and the formula isn't for sale. She asks to test it, half believing me since my hairstyle looks too much like a homebody scientist's, and I tell her of course, but it costs her 3 bottles max. She returns in minutes, confirms it's real, asks for 2 more, tells me to name my price. I think of a new Eridu villa where housing runs 1 billion currency per square meter, and tell her 800 billion. She agrees instantly, which stuns me. Did I ask too little? But her expression gives nothing away. I add one more condition, that she register a legal Alistair identity for a friend of mine from the Outer Ring and transfer the money to his account. She tells me no problem, they'll notify the Public Security Bureau. She says she looks forward to our next cooperation and offers her right hand. I walk out still slightly dazed. The officer points to the bureau branch across the street and tells me any branch can handle it. So I switch back to my classic outfit and walk a few streets to a different branch. Photo, name, wait. When they ask my name, I hesitate, because the survival space warned my name should stay secret since many future attacks come through names. Name concealment ring at 10,000 mod points conceals the wearer's name and causal connection. A bit pricey. So random name modification ring at 1,000, which randomly modifies the wearer's causal name every 10 to the negative 58 seconds, with each name having more than 10 to the 76 sounds or characters. Meaning I'm not sure what my name is now, which is the point. I walk out with an Alistair citizen card and a bank card, the front showing name, photo, citizen number, and address listed as Helios Agency over a blurred aerial view, the back bearing the bureau emblem and issue date. I buy a phone and SIM, no knock-knock chat software yet, only text messages. A message arrives from a 13-5 number, Carlos, telling me this is her mobile and that she looks forward to our next cooperation. She checked my identity while testing the potion and doesn't care which fits, since the outer ring hides special survivors. Next, I wait for the fall of Alistair, which oddly sounds like a villain line. First, the marked ramen shop, the most expensive bowl, black bowl beef ramen at 7,000 currency. Black bowl just meaning portion size like large bowl. I order 2 extra spicy since one is going into the transmutation table. The robot cheerfully confirms, tells me to swipe and wait 5 minutes. Over a dozen mechanical arms working chaotically without colliding. I swipe, pull out my phone, the latest Alistair model running EtherTech with strong compute, battery and impact resistance, but barely any apps and no mobile games. The Alistair Life app offers news, notifications, discussions, and search, and I look up currency. Currency are special aether crystals similar to gear coins, stable, non-eroding, appearing randomly in hollows, sometimes dropping from remnants, with gear coins very rare and unable to leave a hollow. Ether per currency coin can vary by hundreds of millions of times, while gear coins are nearly uniform. And the stable ether is also Alistair's main power source, which is why it became money. Hollow disasters bleed off supply so it doesn't devalue too fast. And once authorities defined one currency's ether amount, transactions became digital. Ultra-high-density coins like 100 million currency are rare enough to fetch dozens or hundreds of times their raw energy value. So a 114514 currency coin would exist too, worth collecting later. The chef hands me the first extra spicy black beef, says the second is coming. I slurp. Delicious. Then the next table cuts through, one man asking the others if they know what happened at the Limbo Hollow, why today feels so chaotic, and I recall Limbo as Hollow Zero's predecessor. The other dismisses it, says it won't erupt twice. This hollow sits next to the core area, and the higher-ups are itching to wipe it. If anything happens, he'll eat shh, then trails off staring. His friend asks, puzzled, eat what? He tells him to eat ramen, then yells, run. A black and purple curtain engulfs everything, stinging sensation wrapping around us. We've been swallowed. In history, the Limbo Hollow swallowed Minerva and Pluto districts the moment its second eruption hit. The street broadcast cries that a second eruption has occurred and non-combat personnel must evacuate, then degrades into static, either ether eroded or scrambled by chaotic space. One man yells this is impossible, he's in Minerva district. Another tells him to run. The first laughs at himself, says running is pointless. His ether aptitude is near zero, and raises an arm where black crystals are already growing, telling the other to go before he can't beat him. The other sighs and walks out. And the moment he steps outside, he simply vanishes, since space is at its most unstable during expansion and rifts open or close at any moment. The other side either outside or a horde of remnants. The young man wishes him good luck and looks back. 2 others are turning into remnants, plus one person who looks entirely normal, which puzzles him. He calls over, asks how I'm holding up and why I'm not running. I'm reading the Ether Erosion 3 line on my status bar without grasping it, so I answer casually that I'm waiting for my second bowl of ramen. He smiles, perhaps knowing he doesn't have long, and tells me Master Rip has shut down, that this delays erosion symptoms, that if someone gets the chef out in time he might survive, that if only he had that ability too. He warns me not to eat the ramen since ordinary foods have no anti-erosion capability, and after erosion the texture becomes like chewing broken glass. He notes I'm calm and must have real strength, mutters that my ether aptitude is good, and as erosion deepens his voice slurs, crystals cover his body, a violent burst breaks chairs and tables, and where he stood is an Apeka. The fluctuation seems to accelerate the others, and the rest of the customers follow. The Apeka attacks first, spitting liquefied ether at me. Its neck is yellow, meaning it can't even charge up. The others are small fry, so I don't dodge, and with the netherite alloy set's damage reduction they can't deal a single point. I don't plan to kill them, but if I meet them again they'd better pray for a distinguishing feature. I place a small teleportation monument, grab the Apeka's core, fly out ignoring its struggles, find a lucky satyr to test the Cosmic Dominion sword, and the moment the blade touches it, it vanishes, dropping golden experience orbs without a death animation. I set the Apeka down, splash potion of weakness, enchanted golden apple. My divine gift on the 3rd day has been enhanced with the function to enhance mods, and this is the standard zombie villager cure enhanced, turning a remnant back into a human without the long wait. The Apeka shudders, clicks, changes. Recovery takes 2 seconds, plenty of time for me to carry it to the rift connecting outside, since my minimap shows every rift basically a real-time human-shaped radish. Recovered but unconscious, I fly out, find a spot near a crowd, drop him, and let his luck do the rest. Heroism in New Eridu brings trouble, and I'm self-interested, so this was purely fate plus the chance to test the new mechanism. I teleport back, retrieve the monument, and wipe the remnants still attacking me, cold remnants turning into warm experience. If you ask why I killed them, then let me ask in turn. 5 seconds have passed. How can anyone prove these are the same remnants from before? Hoshimi Miyabi, Phathon, Yi Jiang. The Hollow holds over a dozen agent lights. Since Alistair is the only city under Hollow disaster, so everyone is here, though they're either long gone or will be gone shortly. I buy an invisibility ring, switch it on, fly up. Since avoiding rifts, the inside isn't much different from normal ground. I already bought Introduction to Ether Erosion, its description telling me Ether Erosion 3 means a level 3 highly volatile ether environment, and for some other creatures might be a bit uncomfortable, like something a troll mod translator wrote. The easiest target is the white giant hand appearing from nothing, which gives me Phathon's location without the minimap. Is the primordial in such a rush to abduct Carlos? Could this be love? This is so shippable. I track them from above. Invisible, watching gray-haired Phathon sprint with a red-scarfed bamboo beside purple-haired Ling, tears in their eyes, both holding on for their teacher's last wish. The HDD system marks each remnant ahead, and the siblings detour with discipline, too cautious for a heroic save, so I drop my invisibility in front of them. Phathon throws an arm out, eyes sharp on the stranger in black hair, blue short sleeves, and purple jeans. I ask where Carlos is, knowing the answer, and his vigilance folds into grief. The same on Ling. I tell them I am Carlos's friend, that he is not so easily taken out, and I will get them clear first. The portable bubble ring costs 1,000 mod points, but in these sentences they have already paid me 3,000. The bubble blooms around them, and I pick the nearest fissure on the minimap and fly with it trailing. 2 seconds later, we are outside. I set them down, and Phathon studies me, clearly wondering why his teacher never mentioned me. I point them toward the crowd, ruffle their hair because at 14 or 15 they are small enough for it, and slip a necklace over Ling's head, telling her that since her brother has a bamboo, this one is hers. The dark gemstone holds black and white in a 3-dimensional pattern, the white forming 3 connected Z's when flattened, and the moment it settles on Ling, it binds to her. A soft white flash turning the silver white the same deep purple as her hair. Even Ling, who clearly knows a great deal, lets out a small wow. Ling calls after me with "Goodbye, mister," and I almost wobble midair because I am only 5 or 6 years older than Phathon, and by the time I leave this point in time, I will be 5 or 6 years younger. All because I named myself Carlos's friend. I tell myself it must be the mature look, decide 7,000 mod points is fair, and forgive them. Behind me, Ling realizes belatedly they never asked the mister his name. Hoshimi Miyabi is more urgent than Ye Shenghuang, and the Xingjian family is easy to pin on the map. Her tiny figure is already out of the sea of fire, swinging a cursed sword and reaping remnants. Madame Xingjian's survival barely touches the storyline, but I want to give Miyabi a kinder childhood, so I crunch an enchanted golden apple and fly into the largest building. Inside the fire, I find a kimono-clad body, and a corpse is harder to fix than a remnant, but I throw a few instant health potions at her anyway, the original code level 255 kind. Either she has not fully died or Vanilla MC does not understand the word corpse, but the wound through her heart seals shut. Milk sloughs off the ether crystals. A second instant health wakes her, and I tell her she would not want her daughter to live as a machine, letting her answer trail off. I drop her outside the hollow without fetching Miyabi, because her father is on the way. With that unsealed cursed sword, only the butcher of the dead end could escape Miyabi, and she has not grown into the fox that moves at 200 yards per hour. The minimap flags every remnant. If any agent crosses paths with the butcher, I will know in time. My minimap covers all of Alistair. The question is Adam, the legendary soul Mercury-level remnant and prime suspect for the Limbo's expansion. I have no interest in killing it, only curiosity, and if I cannot find it, I will not look harder. Hovering above one agent cursor, I struggle. A woman in researcher's clothes clutches her daughter in panic, while a man in the same coat injects vial after vial. Snarling, the corruption is still too fast. Their hair is octopus tentacles. The girl has tentacles from her tailbone. Itahili. I never sold this family medicine because the Blackwater base is brutal to reach, and her role is critical. She materializes the past, finds teacher clues for the Phathon siblings, and contacts Sora. But watching her swallow unstable serum on the edge of death, my plan falls apart. To hell with the main storyline. I have the Cosmic Dominion sword. I did not transmigrate to watch the plot unfold. An Idahili-like constitution, low intelligence puppet costs 1,000 mod points, and the steady Steve drops his invisibility and lands. I tell them to stop and I will send them out, and the 2 octopus hollow can trust me. I was not going to wait for an answer anyway. The bubble carries them out in 3 seconds, and I hand the mother a bottle of milk for the corruption. Love drowns curiosity. They feed it to the girl, her face loosens, the crystals fall off, but when the mother looks up, only my back is visible flying back in. I still need to drop the puppet in the outer ring where Pompey can find it. Its intelligence is roughly a 2-year-old's, no hiding, no lying, but its physical strength as an MC puppet is unscientific and it needs no food. Kind, bold Pompey will protect and use it until Sora tricks or kidnaps it away. Either way, Idahili's parents live, and without much ether resistance enhancement serum, she gets no awakening, probably costing her future combat power and any chance of being a rope master. But she likely prefers her parents alive. The next target is not urgent. No agent cursors remain, which means Xiao Ya has left. Hollow Zero's formation splits into 2 periods divided by the detonation of the Shiyu Towers, and only 2 or 3 hours have passed, so I hope management has not moved that fast. Then the sky-high flames and blue-purple aether filling the air remind me this management is power-hungry, not business-oriented. The Shiyu Towers store immense ether energy, originally the city's heart, and once the Hollow swallows them, that stockpile becomes nursery for remnants and fuel for further expansion. 14 connected towers detonate in sequence, killing untold numbers and tearing a massive rift across nearly all of Hollow Zero. And since the rift contains no ether-corruptible material, the Hollow almost stops there. But it is a flood, and if blocked here, it grows elsewhere. I hover and wait for the dust to settle. The rift is a hideous scar, but the wound belongs to Alistair. The prosperity of Alistair and new Eridu alike is paper, humans, Hollowkin, and robots only struggling in the cracks of the Hollow. In 2 hours, anyone with poor ether tolerance has turned remnant or died. But even under rotten management, this two-dimensional world is still made of truth, goodness, and beauty. 3 agent cursors enter in succession. Defense Force Lyra Squad got a rescue mission without reinforcements, leaving only Trigger, blinded but alive. Defense Force Agamemnon Squad officially escorted civilians but in practice covered officials saving corporate assets. Only Isolde and Orpheus survive, both pulled out by Yi Jiang. Yunque Mountain, a sect of traditional national style, comes down the mountain when disaster strikes, but Hollow Zero is no ordinary disaster, and they are nearly wiped out before Yi Jiang seals the source of ether corruption. The overuse of the Qingming sword costs her 5 senses and her memories, and with her last strength, she seals the sword while her residual consciousness becomes a Qingming bird that stays at Yishuan's side. The sword seems to keep the consciousness of its past masters. New Eridu's upper management later blames every sacrificed hero for ineffective action, and we only learn this because the survivors became agents. Clearly more abandoned pawns never surfaced. Trigger barely touches the storyline, save him. Isolde is a future bishop of the Eulogy Society. Save her. I rein myself in and decide to just nudge Isolde towards seeing the management's rot. Their crises take time, so I patrol, calling out to Adam like a child playing hide-and-seek, telling him to come out and let Eve see him. Hollow Zero is not fully formed and there are plenty of copper-level remnants and above. Then it hits me. The pieces are on the board, I can start making trouble. Hollow Hunter is out of reach, but leaving behind a legend of him fits a blockman perfectly. The air block placement ring cost 100 mod points, the force chain placement ring 1000, with the note that chain-placed blocks can replace substances of hardness below 50. The him blockman appearance costs 10 mod points, criminally cheap. My figure becomes a blockman, large pixels blatantly out of place in this realistic Zenless Zone Zero world, but nothing feels uncomfortable and I am still just as agile. The MC panel mirrors the new image, pixel skin paler than animated him, hair black, eyes still glowing white and captivating. I test the sound, audio is normal but the pixels on my face do not move, so I decide not to talk in this face. The vibe is too good to ruin. The ether erosion source sits near the dead center of Hollow Zero, remnants swarming and evolving around it. Him flies straight up and stops in the sky above. Ordinary people are running. The middle class are saving people, the upper class are saving their money. No one notices the figure overhead. Him raises his right hand, and without tremor or wind, a giant sword appears from thin air, hilt vanishing above the clouds, black and red blade laced with golden patterns, falling into Hollow Zero like divine punishment. Voices below cry out, half in awe and half afraid of a new crisis. Word spreads that the Hollow has stopped expanding, and the survivors accept it without question, insisting the gods save them, and choosing to push the day's grief aside to thank that unknown existence. In the crowd, Belle clutches the necklace, and Wise watches the sword, and though they have never seen me do this, they feel the connection. Outside, others like the Phathon siblings have guessed something and quietly pray. Inside, a Defense Force squad left to cover the retreat is pinned, every ether round punching a remnant's core, but the remnants do not stop. A Thanatos tears their formation. Wounds spread, and one member binds himself and offers as rear guard. Isolde frowns into the distance, where visibility in the old capital is awful and remnants slide from every corner, then orders a breakthrough with no one staying behind. Her math always returns casualties, so looking at those young, resolute faces she resolves that if it comes to it, she will be the one. Then a white light streaks in, sweeping every remnant clean in a second. What is left is a mature woman with long white hair tied into a ponytail, glow dissipating, body swaying. Isolde supports her and asks if Sec Master Yi Jiang is alright, knowing the name as one of Alistair's top combatants. Yi Jiang says she is fine, a flicker of confusion in her eyes. Another figure rushes in on talismans calling for her sister, and Yi Jiang tells Yi Xuan not to worry and to look for anyone else who needs help. Yi Xuan reports that counting these, they have saved 7 Defense Force squads, more than civilians, and the Agamemnon squad lowers their heads in shame. Yi Jiang taps Yi Xuan's forehead and says not to be like that since they too are doing their duty, then looks toward the depths where the giant sword is faintly visible, ignoring every rift, and tells Yi Xuan to lead the squad out while she takes a look. Yi Xuan insists on going, and Yi Jiang lays down the dual pressure of sect master and elder sister, telling her to obey because the sword's origin is unknown. She grips the Qingming sword and goes, and Yi Xuan squeezes out that her sister must come back safely. Yi Jiang only waves, leaving a dashing silhouette. The wounded squad follows Yi Xuan toward a rift, but she glances back to see swordlight filling the sky, and Black Stone writhing, shouts for them to run, drops a talisman, and races toward the center. The Ig Memnon squad can only pray. When Yi Xuan reaches the depths, all that is left is the sealed Qingming sword standing alone in the ruins, a cyan black sparrow perched beside it tilting its head to watch her. She asks if it is her sister. I find a corner seat in a tavern and order a glass of each of the 5 most popular drinks. A crowd huddles around a center table where one drunk slurs his story, telling them how he watched her get covered bit by ether crystals until she turned remnant. He protests he had thought once she was gone there was no point in his own life, and wanted her to kill him. But a Defense Force bullet took her down with one shot. Another drunk cuts in that what good is marksmanship when in the end they all got fired. The owner sets 5 bottles on my table. The drunk explains at least 100 officers were dismissed for being assigned to cover the retreat and coming back alive, announces he is one of them, and adds they have it easy because they can still find other work. He says Yunquei Mountain has been expelled from the protected territory because Yi Jiang died and the higher-ups declared her ineffective in action. The room howls at declaring a dead person ineffective, and he slurs it as like saying their own father was born a eunuch. And the tavern dissolves again. The owner peeks out the door and ducks back, warning the security officers are here. The drunks scatter and drink quietly, and shortly 2 officers enter, middle-aged and younger. The middle-aged one asks if anyone has not registered, while the younger picks a fight with the drunkard for staring and complains loudly that this lot are useless trash. He asks if I have registered, and I hand him my Alistair resident ID. The young one glances at it and notes Helios Agency, the ones who caused the hollow, but the middle-aged officer barks at him to shut up. The young one is more outraged by this than by the hollow itself, telling the older man his own father has never raised a voice at him. I shoot the middle-aged officer a puzzled look and tap my temple, and he chuckles helplessly and explains the kid's father is deputy director of their branch. He hands my ID back and says I should swap for a new ID when notice comes. The young officer threatens to make sure I never find a job again. They leave, a dog barking at the older man's heels, and once the door closes, the tavern bursts into the loudest laughter yet. Who exactly were they laughing at? I order 1 more of each of the 5 bottles to go. Old bank cards no longer work, only coin. I pull currency from my transmutation table. It is early morning, 2 hours after Hollow Zero stopped expanding. In Alistair's southwest, on what remains of the old capital, basic order has settled in. The tavern crowd is lucky. Many citizens have nowhere to live, and weeping comes from every direction. No restaurant is open. Everything I needed to arrange is arranged, so I go back to the MC world and build. I drop a teleportation steel by the roadside, shaped like the hollow greatsword, and teleport. Next time I return it will be 11 years later, and I have placed steels deep in Hollow Zero and out in the outer ring, since no secret realm portal is as convenient. The greatsword shape ensures new Eridu's future sight keeps it at least as a figurine. Walking out of the MC temple, it is early morning here too, villagers asleep, but monsters wander the fields because I forgot to light the ridges. A netherite alloy golem costs 100 mod points, not strong but able to shrug off lower damage, and actively hunts creepers and endermen. Since Nothing for Nothing produced pumpkin seeds, I keep the original flavor. Iron Release, Nether Iron Golem Jutsu. The Iron Golem holds special meaning for every MC player, since most of the iron in your save came from its selfless donation. The black and white guys clear monsters fast. I look at the dropped items everywhere. My obsessive streak cannot accept the mess, but I am not picking them up one by one, and global lighting would strip the MC flavor. My eyes land on the villager houses, and an idea drops. The villager optimization mod costs 1,000 mod points and adds combat villagers. Increases inventory, grants moderate intelligence without violating core duties, lets them craft, use tools and blocks, and change profession by market and preference when a job block is present. Cheaper than the 10,000 I expected. Animation optimization costs 100, and optimizes every MC creature's animations. Sodium at 100 modifies the lighting model of the MC world, while elsewhere it only changes what I see. The texture pack at 100 works the same. Both are too interesting to skip. Sodium alone is not enough, so I add a shader pack, and the same for the texture pack. Iteration T3.0 plus faithful 64 times is the recipe I know best. The round sun climbs, the exaggerated Tyndall effect of iteration sweeps through, and I sit on the temple steps to admire the sunrise. Before that, a mental power enhancement potion auto-use ring costs 100 mod points, slightly inflated because it is a survival space item, but worth it. Otherwise I would spend 3 or 4 hours each day drinking potions to keep mental power aligned with my physical improvements. Now I can admire the sunrise in peace, a real moment of leisure. A few big-nosed villagers stare at me, square eyes much bigger than mine, oozing simple-mindedness, making me wonder if they really count as average intelligence. A green-robed villager scampers up with a self-important air, squints its cross eyes, runs at a butcher's trading interface. The butcher produces an emerald without meaning to. The two swap, and the green-robed one bolts off in chaotic glee, leaving the butcher staring at the stinking flesh. The other villagers start sizing up their neighbors with mischievous eyes, especially the straw hat ones, and the place becomes more chaotic than a farmer's market. Several unfortunate villagers have their trading interfaces forced open, humiliated into trading emeralds for wheat, some cleaned out entirely. The emptied farmers kneel in the field in empty sorrow, but tiny light particles bloom from their bodies as if their strength has been restored. And the thought crosses them that the emerald is lost. Right and wrong no longer matter. Bring the wheat. The leveled-up farmer grabs wheat to seek revenge, demanding the emerald back from anyone in reach, and refusing to hear that they did not take it. Farmers keep getting blocked, tripped by ridges a pixel too high, surrounded by gangs of chuckling brutes, only able to shake their heads at the futile hope of conscience awakening. With mental power over 200,000, I can guess these villagers do not understand their own mechanics either, and once they realize trading tables refresh daily or on level up, they probably stop hoarding so hard. Unless they are simply misers, which cannot be it, since in theory they have infinite emeralds, except the green robes. I plant a few more job site blocks in the farmhouses and stop worrying. Planting trees waits. I select the teleportation style for the greatsword user account. Zenless Zone Zero. Initiate. The moment I arrive, I hear Phathon pitching videotapes. I cut in to say this is not the time, that I know they are Phathon, and I have a commission for a rope master. The two old foxes nearing 30 are not about to show their cards, and Belle rolls her eyes and asks if peanut sauce is short for peanut butter, suggesting that if I want food, I try the 141 convenience store. I tell them to wait, that my name is Nekomiya and Nicole sent me. I am not a bad person. Belle keeps playing dumb. I clarify Nicole from the Cunning Rabbit House, head of the odd job agency, and pull out Emilian, saying this is her bamboo, a token of trust. After some commotion, Phathon accepts the identity, and hearing Nicole's team is in trouble, he wants to help. But first they have to understand the situation. He says, bypassing the owner's permissions to export visual data is difficult, and will require the Marshall Group. Wise remembers their new member Fairy, who claims to be an advanced artificial intelligence capable of hacking most electronic devices, so a bamboo should be possible. I hear furry instead of fairy and panic, wondering if Phathon is a furry enthusiast, and Belle denies any such thing exists here. She asks Fairy to pull the bamboo's internal data. Fairy's large sparkling blue eyes appear on the screen, asking to confirm the request is to convert the bamboo's visual records into a video. I ask who is talking, and Belle calmly explains it is a newly installed computer assistant. Fairy says she is searching the last few days and asks Belle to please say, "I'm so stupid I should have asked you sooner." Belle refuses, telling Fairy not to be smug. Wise watches them bicker with a faint smile, knowing Fairy can at least add fun to their serious rope master work, though she still cannot compete with another presence in their lives. Fairy has exported Emilian's visual information, and watching in full is out of the question, because Nicole cannot wait. Skimming, Belle latches onto my habit of adding meow to my speech in the video, which I have not done once inside the video store. I cringe, asking why it is this embarrassing to watch myself acting cute. Belle asks if the meow is an act, and I insist all cat holokin talk like this meow. Wise and Belle drop it, exchange a look and agree this cat has issues, but the priority is rescuing Nicole's team. Fairy steps in with good news. The train carrying the bomb is about to depart, and Nicole in the blast zone will soon be ash. Fairy proposes intercepting the train inside the hollow. The plan passes with me responsible for taking ease in. Belle stops eyes, picks it up and secretly slides 3 rings into its storage slot, telling it to stay safe. ISMHMs and pats its round chest, meaning, leave it to me. After we leave, Wise asks his sister if they are using that thing. Belle says only as insurance, since it is a dead-end hollow and the trust level of everyone in the Cunning Rabbit House has reached level 3, so if not now, when? Wise agrees. Belle wonders if her Max Cinema Nicole will get a chance to act today. Wise connects to Ayaz through the HDD while Belle plugs the controller in and sits on the sofa, expectant. The necklace at her throat lets out a faint light, the TV goes dark, and a cursor with the same pattern appears. ZZZ. Belle hammers the controller to skip the opening, and Wise smiles and prepares to connect, saying Max Cinema Nicole would certainly be very useful. A strange yet somewhat familiar voice sounds beside them. Belle jumps to her feet. Wise stands up sharply and I tell them, "Long time no see, Wise." Belle. Belle drops from alert to stunned, and Wise relaxes a notch though confusion still grips him. The doorman Bangboo 006 looks like the sky is falling and frets it will lose the job for letting me in. I tell them not to call me uncle, my name is Steve, and when Belle asks if it is really me, I shoot back that if not, it must be a fake me. They trade looks, lost for words, because they have always believed I was alive the way they believe their teacher is. I tease them about the slow detective plan they had been running, Belle laughs sheepishly while I ruffle her purple hair, and I tell her teacher's case is like that, but mine is special. Wise opens his mouth. I point at the HDD and remind him his customer is impatient. And he syncs with IS, the screen mirroring what IS sees as a cat paw hand keeps patting IS's visual collection system. Wise lifts IS's short arm and reports he is here. Stop hitting, and Nekomata marvels the connection finally went through. Blames Phathon's lag and says they should proceed since the road mobs are easy for her. With nothing to do, Belle looks me over and asks why I have not changed after 11 years. Even my clothes. And I tell her I was only 5 years older than her then, and on my side it has only been 10 hours. The full truth is impossible and lies too much trouble, so I give the higher form of 9 truths 1 lie, telling what is true while leaving gaps for the listener to fill in. Both shout in disbelief, and Belle cannot read whether I am joking, so I tell her the figurine on their checkout counter is the anchor point for my arrival, leaving her 9/10 convinced. She explains its history. The miniature sealed sword caused a stir in New Eridu years ago, unbreakable and impervious. Its price once into the trillions of won. A research group bought it, made no progress, it got stolen and resold higher, and the cycle repeated until the price collapsed to a few $100,000. Purely collector value, so Phathon set it on the counter beside the lucky cat, and it drew extra customers. I noted it is the same model as the sealed sword that ended the hollow disaster, and Belle says the seller called the design a bit evil, the body fully light-absorbing black with golden patterns like runes sealing evil energy. I tell her to focus. There is a situation on screen. What follows is Phathon's first encounter with Victoria, the franchise's homage to The Shining. Not interested, I pick up the controller to show an old launch day veteran how to run an account. The screen shows Belle in front of the HDD after the monthly card effect, and commissions remind me of someone, so I call Fairy. A large blue eye pops up on the TV, Fairy announcing it is here, customer. I ask whether Belle and Wise have not trained it to answer only them, and Fairy reports in flat machine speech that based on my prior dialogue the customer is trustworthy. I ask if Fairy can hack the game, and it reports the second assistant already issued the command, the operation similar to playing a video. I nod, unsurprised. The mod is just choosing a carrier, and I could upgrade to mental control or holographic projection with mod points, but that would gut the action game fun. I strengthened it to restore the early days grid walking gameplay, so Belle gets the authentic version, and after opening the character menu I feel guilty for locking her in so cruelly. She can only draw agents she has collaborated with, so she must have opened the game right after Wise activated Fairy and fell into a coma, since it only unlocks after the first act barely 2 or 3 days back. I picture her marveling at that act, sorting the collaborator page then going wild on microtransactions. Her tuning page shows exclusive channels for Nicole, Billy Kid, and Anby, all at A rate with 87 days remaining, a standard channel offering A rank, and a Bangbu channel offering S rank Emilian. Gold pulls from an A rank rate up arrive as S rank specified channel vouchers guaranteeing a gold, though the voucher can still pity break. Belle's inventory holds 11 vouchers. Her rope net level reads 32. And membership stands at 207 days with all double-up bonuses cleared. That is 648,000, 10 times the one back home, and Phathon has a power-hungry monster of a sister to feed. I check the tuning records and find she only pulled 180 times for 30-plus purples and 4 golds, which makes me wonder whether her profile includes Lucky Player. Another 250 pulls on standard yielded 7 golds and 52 purples, fully refining every existing A-rank sound engine to level 5. When I ask Fairy if it tampered with the rates, it denies it and suggests the customer should question the published probabilities. The agent panel is not great, but Belle has farmed A-rank drive disks with correct main stats, leaving me nothing useful to advise. She drops onto the sofa, calls me old man, asks what I am looking at, and when I remind her my name is Steve, she says it is troublesome to say and not as intimate as old man. I tell her to call me him, my code name. She moles Heimu, asks if it means anything, and I tell her it is an English word, the third-person objective pronoun for a male. She decides only experts would understand and agrees it is cool. A lonely Wise, guided by Fairy, sends Corinne out of the hollow and rushes after the train hauling explosives. Belle asks how much I know about this game, and I tell her the necklace was given to her by me so it counts as my creation, even if the game and the mod probably are not. Both shout in shock again on learning the developer is in front of them. Belle marvels I made this myself, and I answer with smugness it is just opening a domain. Easy to buy a mod for, and I could add an MC feature that knocks back creatures whenever Steve hits them. Pin every remnant into a corner, and beat it barehanded, stacking attack range and a forced minimum 1 health deduction per hit, until even the legendary Atom would crumble. Belle's eyes light with pure scheming, as she announces that with just extreme evasion she would be invincible under heaven, sending Nicole to solo Hollow Zero. The mischievous look is so unlike her I suspect the sister next door has possessed her. I lay out the limits. Extreme evasion only chains twice while powerful remnants attack for 5 or 6 seconds. Assist points run out, and a 0 startup attack from an unfamiliar boss is undefendable. And when she doubles down with a Plague Boo, I add long-range lock-ons and one-shot mechanic-heavy monsters. Seeing she will not let go, I take the necklace, ownership reverting when it lands warm in my hand, and apply strengthening mod, early start of tower climbing. She slips it back on surprise at the speed, restarts the game, a mission cursor pops up, and she follows the guide to start the simulated hardcore trial. Wise looks at his gaming-addicted sister and falls into a long silence. While they wait for Nekomata, Wise walks Belle through the events, and she nods and summarizes that they have to wait for Nekomata for a clear answer. Wise sighs, exhausted, but reframes that Belle's current efforts are improving their combat power. Fairy reports the keyword Wangyang Industry retrieved, and a news report plays that Wangyang Industry is postponing the demolition until tomorrow night, for technical reasons. Even though their escort personnel have been beaten in and out 7 times by Nekomata, Belle declares there is something fishy with both Wangyang Industry and Nekomata, claiming to have hit the nail on the head. And Wise has no reply. God closed the door on his sister, but fortunately opened one for Fairy. Little Yu chats with Emily in an Imna and Imna Wada, and I feel like learning a bit of Bangbu language. Fairy suggests reviewing the rest of Emmeline's visual data. Belle agrees, and poor Emmeline is pressed onto the sofa mid-conversation, hacked, and loses consciousness. A knock comes at the closed door. I let Nekomata in. She blinks asking who I am, and Wise tells her I can be trusted, which I take skeptically. By this mod's rating, Wise's trust for me reads 3, and Belle's reads 4. 3 being friend, trusting but guarded, 4 family with no defenses, and level 5 is something like, even if the other person cuts you with a knife, your first thought is whether a mosquito landed on you and they forgot to lower the blade. Nekomata catches her breath, says her radish only locates a more distant exit, and those people probably drove the car away despite the postponement. Nicole and the others still in danger. Belle warns her rescuing all the residents will inevitably clash with Wangyang, and Nekomata's gaze hardens, only considering rescue. The 4 return to the studio where the 3 lay out a simple practical plan. My thoughts run close to Belle's, since I want to send Nicole one-on-one against the Butcher. The easiest boss, but even radical Belle would push back and they will run into the Butcher anyway, so I do not intervene. After Nekomata heads out, I offer to bring lunch. Belle orders black bowl tonkatsu ramen. Wise orders the same and asks if I have enough money, calling me him, then catching himself with Hyung, and I tell him of course. I reach Master Chobo's ramen shop. 6th Street is a touch larger than in the game, 200 or 300 meters long, and card payment has all but vanished in New Eridu. Everyone defaults to cash, driven by collapsed trust in banks, expensive point-of-sale machines, and the fact that rope master and tunnel robber work has shifted to a gray market, almost legitimate as long as hollows are not entered in front of security officers, though the brass remain interested in legendary rope masters like Phathon. The gray market has generated huge illegal funds that cannot be deposited openly, especially in 6th Street, where hidden dragons and crouching tigers reside. I pack the ramen, return, and after lunch treasure hunt along 6th Street. Turbine fronts as a repair shop, but is really an illegal Bangbu modification shop. Since outside the Marcel group no one can legally modify Bangbus, and I would like a cute Bangbu befitting a Blockman, the Toho made mod crossing my mind. Barge Stylus fronts as a record shop but secretly sells drive discs, this world having sound engines and drive discs with functions similar to the game. Box, the trendy toy store secretly selling sound engines, sits at the far end, along with coffee and ramen shops with Aether Tricks for stamina, the 141 general store that occasionally sells Bangbu plugins, and the Awu newsstand whose husky shopkeeper sleeps in the shop at night. There is also the only legal Golden Finger video game store, where rumor claims legendary rope masters appear, and I decide to settle in here. I mark several shops up for sale and head back to study the Zenless Zone Zero domain. At the entrance, I run into Belle on her way out. She calls me Uncle Steve and leads me to the back room, explaining the plan has hit a problem. The train track's blown up. Nekomata is using their boss to negotiate, but they cannot put all eggs in one basket, so they need to kill the Butcher of the Dead End, shrink the hollow, open the road from Candace Alley to New Eridu, and get every civilian across. I ask if it is time to launch Zenless Zone Zero, and she snaps her fingers beaming, since with her skill a no-damage clear is inevitable. I tell her not to worry. Most of the Butcher's moves flash and damage is not high, and as long as the game ends while agents are alive they take no real injury. She picks up the controller and tells Wise to hand out the rings. Inside the dead-end hollow, the 3 of Cunning Rabbit House plus Ayaz, possessed by Wise, look down at the wide-open space. Nicole stands hand on hip and asks if the big one is even here, full of confidence from her modified briefcase and from Billy and Anby behind her. She asks the rope master if the ring is the trump card and reliable, slips it on her thumb where it auto-shrinks to fit, and marvels at the tech. The core crystal is a dark gem with what looks like a currency embedded inside, shifting at different angles, though she cannot tell why the band is dark blue. Anby and Billy put theirs on, pleased, Billy's patterned twin guns and Anby's a straight blade wrapped in electric current. Wise teases they can keep the rings, a gift from his sister, the function known in a moment. Anby remarks flatly that giving rings before a battle foreshadows the fall of a warrior, a movie plot, and everyone feels uneasy. Billy whines Anby is making his hair stand on end. Wise reassures them, and Nicole tells the rope master to stop jinxing and urges them to move. The moment the rings go on, the TV changes and a new symbol appears for each agent. Gray means no ring, white means wearing one outside a hollow with vital signs intact, yellow means inside a hollow, red means injured or possibly critical. In any state but gray, she can select an agent to watch in third person and communicate, the ring glowing faintly, and on entering battle the ring shines purple. Both parties able to launch the domain. One party launching suffices. Forced closing requires mutual agreement, and on a forced close health reverts to physical state, so low health means near death. I nod, satisfied at the flexibility. Belle opens Nicole's view and watches. The small fry sense the coming battle and flee. Dense ether condensing into raindrops that fall without wetting clothes, but accelerate corruption. When Nicole asks if Anby caught the butcher's aura, Anby tells her it is the theme song, since in movies the villain's music plays first. Billy darts to the front, waving his twin guns, and brags he has found the law of victory from the Star Emblem Knight series, glides into a moonwalk, and tells them to use a finishing flying kick from the start and finish within 10 seconds, so the boss theme never plays. He gestures the moves out, not noticing the giant axe flying from the sky. Anby rushes silently and blocks it with her straight blade. The impact knocks Billy onto his back. As he sputters, the butcher predicted his prediction, and Anby tells him idiot. He almost had the ending theme within 10 seconds. In the video store, Belle asks if there is a bug, since they launched the domain, but Cunning Rabbit House is moving normally. I tell her this is a cutscene, the perspective shifted, and I think I hear someone explain they have retained part of the original Zenless Zone Zero plot, so the player recognizes they are playing it. Far off stands the former shopping mall of New Eridu, a headless giant resembling Xing Tian on the roof. Lightning flashes. The butcher reappears beside the axe 20 meters away, yanks it up and swings, then roars with an ether vibration. Belle's instincts tell her the battle is about to begin, and she shouts Zenless Zone Zero, launch. The television displays the team setup page. Billy's voice asks what is going on. His sensory system cannot feel his body, and a prompt appears reading Billy with an I will tag. Nicole demands the rope master come out and explain. Anby observes the villain's boss theme has been forcibly interrupted, and Belle explains proudly this is their new weapon, to wait while she checks the tutorial. Nicole protests checking it mid-boss as a joke. Billy cheers a tutorial popped up, and Anby remarks turning reality into a game is a familiar movie plot. Wise admits they are using it for the first time too, and Belle, hearing him from both the TV and behind her, turns in surprise. The HDD now matches the TV, but Wise reports he sees the Bangbu skill tutorial, and we both laugh since that self-moving Bangbu was meant for Wise to drive. Belle gets through the tutorial fast. After battle starts, she can let the agent control their body or take command, switching characters and ultimate support reserved for her, and background agents return to background after finishing their attack. Every agent inside the domain offers trial options regardless of rings, trials at 0 constellation with average stats, but a trial of an owned agent inherits the Mindscape cinema and refinement level. Time stops within range during team formation and settlement, intruding enemies queued into the next wave. Every non-agent outside the trio cannot perceive this domain, so even witnessing Nicole soloing Adam, they only think she is a new Hollow Hunter, and ordinary people within range are under absolute invincibility protection. Belle tells them to let her take control. Nicole admits it is hard to understand and waves her on. Anby intones that the magical rope master possesses magical powers, and Billy says he cannot wait either. Real-world combat has no balancing, which makes a level 32 newbie rope master fight a level 65 butcher. But the trials are all level 55 and outclass her 2.5 days of practice, and inheriting her maxed constellations the damage is respectable. She selects every trial including Bangbu Emilian, confirms team, battle start. The familiar Billy close-up greets her, the only difference being it is her first time seeing this boss, and the characters are no longer just characters. Billy cheers what a novel feeling. Anby compares it to watching a movie. The butcher stretches and roars, and Belle is already firing Billy from a distance, Billy yelling how satisfying infinite bullets are. The butcher walks toward Billy, flashes yellow, and leaps, Belle pressing switch character as Billy releases his enhanced special, Anby appearing with a stylish ultimate support and basic attacks to build days. From this distance, Billy almost fully benefits from the critical rate of his 4th constellation. Anby lands 4 basics to trigger her 1st constellation. The butcher flashes yellow again. Belle does not switch and presses enhanced special, the electric blade missing on invincibility frames, and she chains into Thunderbolt onto the butcher. The butcher steadies, the yellow returns, Belle switches again, and Nicole enters and blocks the axe with her briefcase, yelping for it then noting it seems fine. The support is a double parry, so the second strike parries automatically, and the butcher then tosses the axe behind its back, as ether keeps gathering. Nicole lowers defense, Belle switches to Billy for his enhanced special ready to dodge, and Billy finishes it just as the axe arrives, with no yellow flash, but Belle dodges in time. She is halfway through being proud when she sees the butcher gathering ether at the drop dack spot, her heart skipping at a combo, and she presses dodge, but Billy is just entering his crouching shooting stance with a startup animation. A low muffled burst hits him, but he reports it does not seem to hurt, and Bell apologizes for not expecting a combo, the hit only taking a quarter of his health. After the defense reduction wears off, the butcher's daze bar is almost full. Bell dashes Billy to trigger his first constellation and restore energy, switches to Nicole to charge special attack and stack her 6th constellation. And as the yellow reappears, Nicole lowers defense while Ambi enters with an ultimate support, instantly following with an enhanced special to trigger daze. Time slows and the chain attack screen appears. First pick is Billy, spraying everywhere and shouting at the boss to catch these bullets. Second is Nicole, who finishes neat and tidy. Third is cancelled, since Nicole's chain attack triggers Billy's quick assist, and Billy crouches and sprays. Meanwhile, Wise outputs like crazy and Himalayan works the dual-barrel Gatling. The decibel rating reaches 3,000 since each character provides 1,000 at the start, and as a beginner boss the butcher has a long daze, so Bell reapplies defense reduction, snaps back to Billy, and unleashes his ultimate, draining the butcher's first health bar. Nicole asks if it is over. Bell says there is a second phase, and on my reminder Billy fires remotely to restore energy. Anby remarks villains in movies always have powerful second phases, and Nicole calls them on, promising another glorious achievement for Cunning Rabbit House. Ether condenses behind the Butcher of the Dead End and 2 more arms sprout from its sides. Anby murmurs, "Movies were right, you never take damage while transforming." And Nicole tells her not to trust the movies, the Rope Master is just turning the fight into a game. Billy insists the Star Emblem Knight would have ended this with a finishing flying kick mid-transformation, and Bell asks whether bad guys ever get to attack the Knight mid-transformation. Billy stammers that the Knight has an invincible domain, and I cut in to ask why he does not bait the enemy's ultimate in human form and negate it through that very domain. Billy is too rattled to notice the unfamiliar voice, while Nicole asks whose voice that was, and the Butcher finishes transforming howling at the sky. Bell tells them to save the question for after. The Butcher sweeps an ether laser from its spinal cord at Billy, who dodges twice clean and keeps shooting. When it leaps without a flash, Bell dodges, switches to Nicole and holds special attack to charge an extra special. A yellow light blooms, Anby slides in with an ultimate support and blocks the four-armed embrace. 2 basics chain into Nicole's ultimate support. 1 basic drops a defense debuff, and Billy returns with an extra special. He complains the attack frequency has clearly increased. The yellow light flashes again, and seeing Bell's last support point, I can predict the future. She fires Amby's ultimate support to block 3 hits in a row, releases the support assault, and as the yellow light blooms again, she silently apologizes since the assault has too much lag to cancel. Anby eats 1 claw head-on and ultimate dodges the other 2, telling Bell it is fine, the bad guys always change moves, and Billy chirps that in the end they will all fall to the Star Emblem Knight. Bell pulls Anby back, dodges a smash, swaps Billy in, and announces their blood-pumping combo. His second constellation lets him dodge without startup while crouching and shooting. Exactly her plan, a feast of ultimate dodges punctuated by gunfire. With no support points, every flash reads red, but Bell threads Billy through dodge after dodges, flash or floor slam alike. The second phase has high aggression, and without the debuff, Billy's damage is pitiful, but Nicole and Anby catch on. Nicole telling the Rope Master not to worry since no battle comes without scrapes, and Bell replies she is waiting to read every move, asking the Butcher what it is waiting for. At the next read, she knows the move has 1 hit and big end lag. Billy ultimate dodges, Nicole takes the field, a charged extra special and basic attack fire Billy's quick assist, and he lands another extra special. Another red, Billy dodges. Anby steps in. A continuous attack red flashes. Anby ultimate dodges into a dodge counter, swallows the next hit with invincibility frames, lands 3 basics, then a final extra special and lightning strike push the Butcher into a daze. The chain attack follows, Billy boasting his bullets have eyes and Nicole telling him to behave. A basic reapplies the debuff, Billy chains a quick assist into 2 extra specials, and the recoil drifts him out. Nicole reapplies the debuff, Billy unleashes his ultimate with the star emblem shining here, and the bar is almost empty. Bell switches to Nicole over her protest, and holds special attack while rotating the joystick in a full circle. It is an Easter egg she found by accident. Ether gathers at the briefcase muzzle. Nicole plants it on the ground, sits on it, covers her ears and tells everyone to cover up. It is going to explode. The blast empties the bar, the screen freezes black and white, and a huge yellow wipeout caps the battle. Nicole gets her close-up with arms wide, the Butcher gets its close-up with no death pose while dazed, and a long shot seals it with a large S. On the results, Billy scores 1,725 and takes the most valuable player Anby 1369, Nicole 1230. Billy begs for the latest engine oil, Nicole dodges by promising next time, Anby remarks her burger can wait too, and Billy whines that even Anby will not back him. Bell calls them to order. When the domain shuts, Belle sighs. That was a hearty battle. Her first real-life version. Every hit making her heart race since there is no restart. Wise switches to eyes and proceeds on plan. And I tell Belle not to belittle herself. She only took 2 hits her first time, and suggest she climb the tower since it holds remnants she has not seen, while I watch her brother. She thanks me, and I cannot suppress my smile, because with only a cunning rabbit house team the moment she meets Hu Jian, she is finished. 3 reds plus a yellow against a 2 dodge chain with no 3-body problem or Jane triple dodge. This tower is not the regular one either. I have optimized it into a time unlimited score only battle trial glory mode, where a no damage clear yields a proof of glory, the first 10 floors welfare, and from the 11th onward a sneak attack buff lands every remnant hit without a flash. Good luck, Belle. On Wise's side, the plot tracks the game. Nicole contacts Bikey Heavy Industry, who treat the dirt on their mortal enemy with utmost importance, then leads the Canvas Alley residents back along the cleared road. Because they downed the butcher faster than pacing, when they exit the tunnel, Nekomiya is still mid-introduction. Before she finishes, shouts about Vision Corporation treating human life like grass, pores dripping with the blood of innocence, and refusing to be silenced again pour out, freezing her and Sora. Sora tells them escaping proves they have skills, but only her people stand here. Then orders her side to fire. Sirens drown her order, and the reporter with the strongest attack power announces the breaking scandal in a high, indignant voice, marking her as legendary. The Public Security Bureau surrounds the scene, and Baichi Heavy Industry descends from the sky in a helicopter, making the Bureau look modest. The incident ends like that. Sora escapes, and Nekomata is invited to join Cunning Rabbit House, and is thinking it over. The most ordinary background of the lot, since Anbi is a Hollow Zero test subject and Billy a firepower-type regional suppression high-intelligence tactical entity, possibly the Star Emblem Knight prototype. By dark, Cunning Rabbit House heads to the Public Security Bureau, and Wise shuts down the HDD. Belle invites me to the buffet and suggests I think about new Eridu residency, since Nicole has the connections. I tell her I registered as a survivor back then. Wise notes my origins, abilities, and combat power are all mysterious, yet I move freely through Hollow Zero, and as the older brother he keeps a shred of wariness. While Nicole's statement runs, Belle asks if I can block Fairy, and I tell her that is simple. I pull a shielding field ring at 1000 mod points, which blocks external information gathering inside the field on a causal basis, drains energy with field size, and stores about a year of use. I give 1 each. Belle activates hers, a transparent semicircular film, 2 meters across, wraps us, and she gasps that this is time-stop technology. I tell her a true time-stop would freeze electromagnetic waves into darkness, so it is something like 1, useful for teleportation, not to be used except in emergency. Wise's mouth twitches at a year. I add the flaw, thought control, since if someone takes their mind and drains the ring it is useless, and both think privately that meeting a mind controller without strong teammates makes the ring the least of their problems. Belle asks what happened to me back then, and I spin a tale 9 parts true and 1 part lie. After sending them out, I went looking for their teacher, circled Limbo Hollow, and could not find her or many remnants above bronze rank, since the progenitor must have feared meeting people like Yi Jiang and taken Carlos to another hollow, so I never saw the legendary Atom. I saved a few special people, headed to the ether erosion source at Limbo's center, and sealed it, an unprecedented EMC consumption. I planned to rest and return, but I heard the King Ming sword wielder Yi Jiang had sacrificed herself next to my seal, so even half recovered I teleported over and landed in a new space. Fearing the final battle had bugged my point, I ran a diagnostic, teleported again, and ended up here, I tell them, pointing at the sealed sword figurine. After my stand-up routine, Wise only doubts whether humanity has really grown this formidable when they cannot even solve hollow communication yet these people fling spacetime around. Belle marvels I have arrived 11 years on, while the kids from back then are now older than I am, and asks how I feel. So you still remember you are older than me. I tell her it feels good since investigating Limbo Hollow's secrets takes time, and Alistair was inconvenient while rebuilding, which leaves them stunned at the train of thought of a genius scientist. I add that seeing them grow up with such a special assistant lets me as an uncle rest easy, emphasizing uncle, and Belle chuckles. After they summarize their past years and Fairy's origin, Belle drops the field, announces the buffet, and Fairy, suddenly unblocked, wonders if it lagged. New Eridu is built on the old capital's Janus district where most survivors live. 6th Street is remote, so the subway takes a dozen minutes to Guangying Plaza, already the center and prosperity approaching the old capitals just with fewer people. Ether technology keeps supplies abundant despite the old capital being off limits, which interests me since anti-erosion food is strategic material. Phathon tells me most of it is high-tech wizardry, rapid ether greenhouse plants, and accelerated ether animals. The two are not surprised I do not know, having seen too many genius scientists ignore everything outside their fields. The citizens are not repulsed, since ether tech rivals or beats natural in taste, and with humanity on the brink, having anything to eat is plenty. 2 humans, 1 cat holokin, and 1 robot stand at the entrance. Billy hollers the store manager has arrived. Belle reflexively tells them they did not have to wait outside before her face sours, and she asks Nicole if she is making her pay again. Nicole paints a picture of settling debts once vision falls, then asks who I am. Belle introduces me as Steve, the inventor of their new technology, and tells everyone they can call me him. Nicole's eyes light up at a big shot. She shakes my hand and introduces herself as the boss of Cunning Rabbit House. I tell her as a researcher I have little combat capability and will need their help, while Anby moves her lips like she wants to speak then does not, since in movies, researchers who claim no combat capability are usually the opposite. Zenless Zone Zero's models are almost all handsome men and beautiful women, and that holds after reality conversion. Nicole especially with her fluffy pink hair and eyes as cute as a cunning rabbit yet sharp. Belle cuts off the networking and herds us inside. She gives Nicole a sanitized identity, saying the water is deep, those who understand will. Nicole does not press, waving a hand and promising my survivor registration plus 11-year disappearance is no issue. The citizen card delivered to the video store by tomorrow. I lay on enough flattery to send her laughing, while Nekamiya watches and feels more and more like she has boarded a pirate ship. The meal is good, and with my diet ring eating has become enjoyable. Saturation can climb higher than hunger with no upper cap. Hunger maxes at 19, and under Minecraft rules full saturation makes hunger meaningless while full hunger blocks normal food at low saturation. Golden apples and enchanted golden apples the exceptions, so I can eat whatever I want and keep eating. Billy slumps in his chair rubbing his belly, and I ask whether a robot of his model needs regular food. He explains he is a high-tech product whose kinetic energy is stable ether, but who can also draw energy from food, taking the trouble since I am a scientist and important partner. I have one more question and save it, since excretion-related questions after a meal are not appropriate. After parting with Cunning Rabbit House, Belle worries about my accommodation, and I tell her I have a secret base. Then say once the video store opens my teleportation point cannot stay at the front desk. She insists the figurine has become a feature, so I produce a teleportation stele shaped like eyelays as the new anchor. She marvels it is even cuter than the real eyelays. After parting from Phathon, I teleport to the survival space villa, but even with blackout curtains drawn, sleep is rough. With no siege event and no group chatter, I post as him asking how everyone is and offering duplication, secretly fishing for new goods since Zenless Zone Zero items cannot become mod points, and trust farming has a cap. No one replies, and after resting I teleport to the Minecraft world. The MC world is perfectly synced, even the green-robed villagers asleep, though they sleep early and wake late, half tempting me to put on a green robe myself. The iron golem guards the village, surrounded by lush greenery I never planted, so a wandering trader perhaps. I fly up, spot the invisibility potion particles, land, and open trading. Dyes, flowers, fish buckets, blue ice, all trash, but I trade one of each to learn in the transmutation table, ignoring the 2 leads since the McJava 121.6 recipe drops slime balls, exactly the one I brought. That reminds me of something. I craft rails in a minecart, place them at the iron golem's feet, push, but it will not get in. A Java feature even though it works in Bedrock. I put a stone block down with 2 wooden pickaxes in my hotbar, mine with one, and switch to the other. Progress does not reset. A Bedrock feature. So it is a combination from both, and I stop testing since any feature I want I can buy as a mod. Next, creation. The sky is brightening. 6 in the morning, and most villagers including children wake up except the nitwits. No other meaning intended.